Okay.
All right.
Why don't you have... God damn it, Stealth. I can't hear anything. Hold on.
Sup, Alex? How are you?
I guess I'm just going to put this in general.
We're at a section where they're redoing the road, so every single freaking manhole is like 3 feet higher than it needs to be.
Of course it is. You did something cool, Alex? What did you do? What cool thing did you attempt today? Blackburn, I'm gonna need you to do your usual thing.
I'm not quite certain what exactly you're referring to. I've not done anything particularly interesting today.
Cactus.
Oh.
The usual death by pings.
Oh, yeah, no, I got you. Pick a number.
Yes.
Here, let me roll with dice. What do you want me to roll? Here, I'm gonna roll 2d10s. Give me 6 pings.
Alright.
Okay, so I posted the video of it in general.
You dyed your hair, Alex. Fucking sweet, dude. Fucking sweetness, my guy. What color did you dye it? And don't mind the just chatting screen, everybody. I'm doing some final setup. Make sure everything is hunky McDory.
I think you need a restart.
Is he crackling a little bit?
Again with the crackles.
Yes, again with the crackles. Oh shit, speaking of voice mod.
What about now?
No, you're good.
Sweet.
What about today?
There we go.
What about tonight?
What about tonight? Put on my clean so that it sounds better. Do I sound schmexy? I put it in Discord for me.
Yeah, so, Blackbird, I put the video in general.
Alright, I'll take a look at it in a second.
Dope as hair, Alex. I like it. I like the dark. Looks very nice, very professional.
Very nice, very clean.
Very clean. Very, as my sister would say, chic. Because my sister's weird as hell in that essence.
I was gonna make a joke, but I decided not to.
So, real quick recap. We're only waiting on Cactus. I'm not sure if Jenna's gonna be making it.
What kind of cactus?
See. A moist cactus. Because I know Mrs. Rage is listening.
She actually
a
may not be.
moist. It's a... Oh, well,
Yeah.
Now my fucking
we'll do this again.
motivation
We'll do
is
this again
gone.
later. We'll do it again. We'll do it
Yeah,
again
we'll
later.
do it
I
again
promise.
later. Yeah, we'll do it later. It's fine. Anyway, so a quick recap, especially for Mr. Rage, who hasn't been here. Basically get you up to speed on the situation at
called
hand.
me out there, bro.
The people know you weren't here. So, what had happened last time? You were here with the session for Azrael, the Rabbit Folk Wizard.
Yes.
Right. All right. So you basically need to be caught up on last week. Dope. All right.
Yep.
So basically, what happened is that as we left you off, you guys were guarding the crystal in the center of New Haven as a shadow of a dragon rode overhead, and you guys were preparing for battle. What occurred afterwards is that 4 months, bitch. Thanks, Mr. Rage. A big preach.
You're welcome.
So what basically had happened is that the party went into combat with about a dozen bandits and a bandit captain. As the dragon that was overhead, the dragon that you met at Ravenholm, landed, and its rider was with it. And its rider introduced itself as Balkrak, the bugbear. spoke a little bit like Sean Connery.
What's the
And
name?
Bok-Rak. B-O-K'_R-A-K.
Yeah, you crackled a little bit there, so I thought you said butt crack, not gonna lie.
That's what they thought too. It was butt crack. It's Bok-Rak. So he is a bugbear polearm fighter, and so he jumped off the back of the dragon and decided to help you, because if you were to die, then he would not get his matchup with Yuri, who he apparently has a bone to pick with for some reason.
Butt crack has a bone? Got it.
God damn it, Rage.
You know
I
you
missed
miss
you.
me. Shut
I
up.
miss you, you son of a bitch. Anyway. So he has a bone to pick with Yuri. He decided to help out to keep everyone alive and help out. He didn't do as much damage as I thought he was going to with the stats that I gave him. His dragon, though, Urak, did a lot of damage and did a lot of unsettling shit to the bandits. Fucking, I'm gonna beat Cactus's ass. How does he forget it's D&D? You know what? Never mind. I'm not gonna get it because I'm just gonna raise my blood pressure. Anyway.
How many edibles did he eat today?
No, he's 5 drinks in, celebrating his new job. Which, congrats to him, but also, you know what day it is.
I heard edibles.
Dude. Well, go ahead, get some then, drinks.
I don't know if I got any.
Dragon came down, did a bunch of work. Bok-Rak came down and did a bunch of work, as the rest of the party was just annihilating the bandits, and Okros was fighting off the bandit captain by himself, as I basically had Creed on autopilot, because Blackmore was having connection issues, and everything was kind of working out. You guys were slowly kind of dealing with them, making your way through. Jenna wound up ripping someone's throat out because she popped one of her spells and went like full primal surge on somebody and just ripped him to shit, which was pretty cool to watch.
She did it good?
Yeah, she did it good. She actually, something flipped in her head where she's now she fixed her spells where now she's full offense, and she's terrifying.
Hey, you say something flipped in her head, I have the Gohan Super Saiyan 2 thing
basically
in my mind.
Yeah. That's basically what happened. She went to Super Saiyan 2 and is like, all right, all my spells are offense now. She fixed her entire spell book, which was kind of scary to sit there and work with her on, because she was like, I want to do as much damage as possible, and I was like, okay. But yeah, so you guys dealt with all the bandits. Okros killed the bandit captain, and with the crystal basically secured, New Haven was secured. The bugbear and his dragon flew off in the distance, basically saying, we'll be back when you're stronger so that we can fight. Right now, it is not the best time, because he wants to keep Yuri alive so him and Yuri can duke it out. Go figure. Afterwards, you guys went to the town of Thurbal, which is the large farm plantation town area in the center of the region where most of the food is being made. So that is kind of important. And so you went there with the party to basically help establish it. When you got there, you're basically told there's been a slew of serial killings going on, a bunch of murders, and that you're going to figure it out. Hi, Jenna. We're just doing a recap.
I totally forgot. I'm so sorry.
You're okay. I'm just going to do a recap. I'll finish up the recap real quick.
Okay.
Went to Thurbal, where you're basically told that there was a bunch of murders recently. It looks like they either laughed themselves to death or self-inflicted wounds. A lot of the townspeople had stopped trusting the bards that had been in their taverns, and they pointed you towards one bard in particular named Freya, who is a rabbit folk bard, who is very well known for her ability on stage. And so you were pointed towards her. You went to talk to her and investigate. She was voiced by Mandy, because Mandy guest starred last week to kind of bring that character to life.
Son of a bitch!
You missed it.
She guest starred as Freya, and she may guest star again if Freya comes up again. But she guest starred and basically talked with all of you. She gave you information that you could use. Basically told you that apparently, according to what she's been hearing, is that someone called the Blight Piper. He's already threatened the mayor and some of the royal housing. He recently killed 4 people in the central building, and that they looked like they laughed themselves death from inflicted wounds. That it was 2 drunkards and 2 vagabonds. So no one of real connection to anybody else. Like, the killings have been very sporadic. And so she's basically telling you about it, and you're like, okay, well, I guess we'll go investigate this. She tells you that Lady Gilhart, who is a royal who is attached to the mayoral family line, is still missing, and that is the most important person for you to find at this point in time. You guys go upstairs to the inn to kind of take a snooze after you basically drink and kind of relax as you're coming from battle and travel to Thurble. So you're taking your moment to kind of like USA before you go and chase down a serial killer so you can secure the farms. You guys do a snooze. Aura's waking up along with Worfen because something is going wrong. Both of their weapons, which are weapons of warning, go off and are like, bitch, something's up. Go check it out. And they go to check on Freya's room, and they hear her being like thrown around as if she's being attacked by something. It turns out that she's being attacked by her own hand that is holding a dagger that is trying to pierce her throat. Aura runs in and tries to hold it back and stop it. Yuri comes in after her because he doesn't sleep and tries to dispel it. He fucks up the dispel because he rolls low on his spell dice and it fails, and then he gets afflicted by the same spell. So then he starts to try and choke himself with his own hand. Creed comes in, cuts off the hand with his great sword, which then jumps off of Yuri's neck and scuttles off into the distance. And then they basically reconvene. The spell seems to dispel due to... Or it wasn't... I think it was Aura Warfen. It was somebody did dispel on her.
Aura did.
Aura did, that's right. Aura did her dispel and got it above the DC to stop it and didn't have any after effects. So the spell stopped for both Yuri and Freya. They talked a little bit more. She believes that it was the Blight Piper who was doing it, and that you guys... She's like, I'm going to rest because, she's trying to recover. And as they're resting, a barkeep comes in, like, really sweaty and kind of panicky looking, and is like, hey, is everyone all right? Everyone's like, yeah, we're fine. Barkeep goes off. Everyone is kind of trying to figure out what's going on. They hear a noise downstairs in the lobby. Guy has busted in through the door and is essentially laughing himself to death. Like, he is, like, keeling over, like, hysterically, horrific laughter situation. Party goes down to fix it, and Okros just knocks him unconscious, because you can't laugh if you're unconscious.
Yep.
Which is fair, and it worked, so I'm not going to say no to it. Fix that problem, and it was Nez, one of the party members, essentially talked to the barkeep that was at the bar and said, hey, it was Creed, asked him, hey,
It was Creed.
This guy that is this specific description came up to check on us, but he's not here. Does he work? And the guy was like, no. And Aura recognized the man's details that Creed was talking about on one of the missing person posters on the wall. And that's when they realized that it was probably the Blight Piper, who they found out is most likely a changeling, which is from Nez's wheelhouse, since he is also one who recognizes like kind of situation. And so that gave them the whole scale of that situation. They had breakfast, they had Spire Coffee Co. brand coffee, and set out to go find Lady Gilhart. They were pulled by a young beggar girl that, hey, something's wrong, this person is dead, dying, like this, it's in trouble, I need your help. Party goes behind her. Nez is like, hey, I'm going to try and help out because, doing medical artificer nonsense. They get into the room, they see a lady on the ground, kind of on her side. Nez starts checking vitals. Her vitals are weak, but they're kind of there. And then Nez flips her over, and you see that it's Lady Gilhart, but she has a large syringe in her hands that she was holding back when she was laying on her side, and when he flipped her over, it jammed into her neck and sunk the plunger. And she started to have what looked to be poison creep through her veins as she started to seize. And as they're all trying to deal with the situation, they turn to see the beggar girl bringing over the guards and saying, "That's them. That's the people who have been killing people. Those are the villains. They kidnapped Lady Gilhart and killed her in cold blood." And so as the guards are coming in, Or is able to see past them and see the beggar girl giving them a conniving smirk as it disappears behind one of the guards, and then a beggar girl is no longer walking behind the guard, but is now a regular guard walking away. And so that's basically where we are.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I have a plan.
Well, unfortunately, this starts a couple hours after that whole scenario.
Jenna's still getting Aura's life together. Give her a minute.
I knew exactly how to get out of it. I've been thinking about this, and you just took that from me.
All right, what were you thinking of? I'll let you. All right, I'll let you guys try. By all means.
As a soldier, and as a neat little thing it says on the character sheet, I can invoke my rank to exert influence over other soldiers. And what Creed would scream is alarm. We have a noble in danger. And he would point towards the guards. And we have seen the number roughly from where we were.
Yeah, about a dozen.
Or do we just see okay?
See about a dozen or so.
Counting the former beggar, it'd be 13.
Oh, that one walked away. That one disappeared into the crowd.
All right.
That one's like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Well, I was going to point out, I was going to say all 13 of you. And the guards return. Like, we only came with 12 guys. Who's 13? And then you see one walk off. Okay, so basically, I would just do 911.
Okay.
We have a noble down. We came upon her. We require assistance immediately or she will die. And basically invoke training more than anything else. More than anything the beggar said, they would immediately kick in because there is a noble dying on the ground and really don't want to be rescued.
So, I'm going to need two things from you. Right. First, I will need a persuasion, and then second, I'll need a perception.
That's my turn.
In that order.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. That's an 8 for persuasion, and then you said perception, which is a different tab. No, it's the same tab.
Yeah, it's the same time.
I'm not used to navigating the mobile version. Yeah, no, that's not happening. That's an 11.
So,
that's an 11.
You say these words to them, and they kind of stare at you with the same intensity they had when they walked in. When you give them a quick look over, they don't seem to look like guards you saw before in other cities. They don't seem to wear the same color as the Ravenholm Guard. They seem like they're wearing piecework material, that their armor isn't uniform, that it seems that these guys are not as trained as you would hope. It seems like this is a volunteer group.
As I said, they're not professional soldiers, they're militia.
Yeah, essentially. They're militia. And secondly, they look at you when you say a noble's in danger, and they just go, "So what? They haven't done anything good for us recently." Is when you suddenly remember that underneath the War Master's rule, nobles were considered at the equal level as everyone else. Because it didn't matter how much money you had, it was how useful you were to society.
Shit. I have an alternative. There's a plan. Creed would kind of just gesture to surrender, and how close am I to her body? because I really don't want her to die. That looks really bad for us.
You would probably be like, your heels would be probably about a foot away from her, I would say.
All right. Creed will undo his sword and like land down and just like casually reach back and just dump all of the lay on hands into her so she does not die. Remember, children, if the hooker is alive when the police show up, it's not murder.
Jesus Christ.
Just prostitution.
You can't come at me for murder if she's not dead.
So you just need to do 5 if you want to neutralize the poison, or so
No.
you want to just like dump your whole 50, just the whole thing.
I'm going in a cell anyways. I might as well do the most I can. If she's got cancer or like she has a club foot, like I'm gonna do everything I can.
I want you to understand the scale. So she is a level 0 commoner, much like other people you run into who aren't specialized. They have at most like 12 to 14 hit points, and that's on like a good roll. Say it.
What would like?
Would cure wounds work?
I mean, anything. Well, cure wounds wouldn't work to neutralize a poison. His lay on hands would work. I'm trying to give him the scale of that. She has like 11 hit points, and he's putting 50 into her. She is gonna like reverse in age.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's gonna go back like 5 years and be like, oh.
Hey, let me put it this way. We need a witness who will verify that we didn't stab this bitch with a needle. And we need someone who will actually speak good of us when we're inside of a cell. Alright? And I think someone who I did such a good job saving, they literally reversed in age, I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, fair.
If all this fails, Creed has a new level of like Legend to Tell where he basically made a woman nigh immortal. Just because he could. So, you know, by default,
Gather around, kiddies. Did I ever tell the story about how I gave someone the Fountain of Youth?
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you have to help someone a bit more than they really, really need. Okay.
All right, so you dump all 50 into her. You don't see the results. None of you do, but you dump your 50 points of your lay on hands into this woman, which you think is a great idea, and you do so. Anyone else have any last minute things they want to try to do to persuade this militia from taking you in?
I can point my gun at them and persuade them.
Yeah, they could. That looks really good.
We're supposed to look good? I'm persuading here. I don't give a fuck how I look at this point.
I guess it's a fair point.
I mean, sure.
The only thing I can do is
small...
intimidate, and I don't think that's gonna help.
I mean, it's whatever. I mean, whatever plan you guys have, is better than no plan. So if you want to try something, I'm not going to tell you no. I'm going to say try it and let's see what happens.
In order to start crying.
I mean, that is a free action.
Sure, can you just mute the mic while you do that?
I'm not actually gonna cry. So I was just curled up in the corner crying.
No, you need to be crying. I need to feel.
No, we're not going to do full method acting. All right, so... Or you're going to be just breaking down next to this person's body as you're just, like, having a panic attack.
She dead?
For all you know, sure. You can't... Right now, in your state of mind, you can't tell if she's alive or dead if you wanted to. You are just... Your brain's not having a good time.
No. But Aura needs to pull it together slightly. And what would I use to determine if she...
I need a wisdom check, please.
A wisdom check. That is a 6. Why do you hate
You
me,
don't
wisdom?
pull yourself together. You are still having your panic attack.
Can I roll perception to see if there's anything else that I notice around the scenario, perceive the situation?
Sure, go ahead. Roll me perception. Nez Okros, did you have anything in your pockets you would like to try to do?
That's a dirty 20, sir.
I at least wanted to say that, hey, she's still alive. We just need to make sure she gets proper medical attention. How are we the killers when we're trying to stabilize her?
All right, Nez, you'll need to roll me persuasion, and then Nameless, you see the same thing that Creed saw. You
Give
see that
them
these
advantage
guys.
by looking really angry.
Oh, I didn't see
Sure. You can assist by being angry looking.
Yes.
With cure wounds,
Indignant that I'm being
lady.
accused of such
Cure
low-handed
wounds would not
methods.
help with a poison.
Didn't
Guessing
I ask
was
that
a
already?
finish for me.
Yes, you did,
50
but I don't
points
think
of
Jenna
damage
heard you.
would help.
No, I was
Okay.
on an important phone call
Yeah.
I had to take. I wasn't
So
paying
Jenna,
attention.
cure wounds will not help with a poison. Lay on hands does because it deals with both poison and disease, but cure wounds does not. It just fixes like actual damage.
And let me guess,
Nameless.
really, first time
Yeah, Creed already did his whole thing where out of character she is neutralized with poison and is stabilized, but none of you know this. You're all dealing with the current situation. And you're having a panic attack, Jenna. So you're like
Yeah.
you're not really all here. Nameless, you see the same thing that Creed saw. These guys are militia. They look like common folk. They don't really know what's going on. All they know is that they've been dealing with a serial killer, and with the number of deaths that have been happening, the fact that they were pointed out to someone or someones who could possibly be like a group of serial killers, they're just gonna go with it. So you're not sure how you can get out of this. You think that persuading may work, but it doesn't look like they really care much. They're gonna just do what they've been told, which is anyone that is suspicious gets brought to the jailhouse.
Oh, I have another plan.
Nez, you try to persuade them with Okros looking intimidating, and you seem to get through to one of them, but the rest of them are still like, no, we need to bring you to the jailhouse. You need to go through due process. If you're innocent, you will be found innocent. If you're guilty, you'll be found guilty.
Can I agree? Okay, I agree to going with. Can we just make sure she's stabilized before going, and then I have no problem following.
I have a problem following.
They tell you that they will bring an apothecary over, as well as some other caring individuals to help her to kind of deal with the situation. If she's not dead, they won't call the coroner. They will bring the apothecaries in to deal with it. But if she is passed, then they will have her autopsied and examined.
And then also, where did the person go that brought you guys here?
Yeah.
They don't seem to really care about that.
Freaking should. Rude.
Nice. Really
so-
rock with Chicago Police Department vibe.
They were like, we're pointed here, so we're gonna do the thing. Like, we don't really care about someone who pointed us here. It's, again, these people seem very of the common folk. Like, they don't have a lot of training. They're very straightforward. They were kind of mismatched because, again, you're in a essentially dystopian apocalypse scenario where the cities are trying to rebuild. So it seems like these are the farmers who are off duty or otherwise. Nameless, you roll me wisdom. Roll me a wisdom check. They're nameless.
Oh, should it be stealth?
No, I want to see your reasoning first. I want to see if you use your brain first.
No, I do not. I wanted to. I had it,
So,
but you know.
so you
had to roll
use your
it.
brain, and you think this is a wonderful plan. You throw on your cloak, you flip up your hood, and you go to run behind them, and you realize that your cloak works if you're in full cover, whereas the front of your body is still exposed. So even if you drop to the floor, your legs stick out. So you turtle with your cloak, and your cloak matches the cobblestones you're on, but they can still see your legs.
Can already burst out laughing a little bit.
No, you're having a panic attack.
I
So
don't
you
wanna
can
sound
hide as a
anymore.
bonus action even if you are being directly observed.
Yes, you can hide, but you're also in an open room, surrounded by guards, surrounded by your party, surrounded by a dead person. There's nowhere for you to hide. It'd be different if you had objects or light obstructions to get behind and try that, but you rolled low on your reasoning, so you're like, aha! And
I have a dying woman that I can get behind.
Does 11 stop the panic?
You don't get to roll again to stop the panic, Jenna. That's not how this
I
works.
don't want to.
You rolled it once. This is happening over seconds, not minutes. So this is all happening simultaneously. As Creed asks them to not arrest you, as he surrenders and puts land hands on the person, Nez and Okros try to persuade them, and it kind of gets through to one of them, but the rest of them kind of peer pressure him back into doing it. Nameless drops down to the ground, turtling, and doesn't really get any kind of stealth bonuses, and you're having a panic attack. So, in this instance, it seems that the guards are going to take you in, of where they're going to bring in the apothecary to deal with the woman to see if she is savable, as that is part of their job description. But they're going to bring you to the jailhouse to be off the streets, so that if you are the killers, you cannot kill again. And if you aren't, well, then that eliminates you as suspects, because they don't have forensics or anything cool here, so they're kind of just going by best investigative methods, which, being common folk, aren't the greatest. So,
Well, if I'm panicking, I'm curled up in a ball, so they're going to have to basketball carry me.
or they can drag you.
Oh.
It's your choice.
Okros will simply pick her up.
Or that. That is also a thing he's able to do.
Don't mind me just carrying the one time.
So, you all go with the guards as they bring you to the jailhouse to basically sit it out while they speak to what witnesses they have and what information they have from the situation at hand. You're all led to a small room where you're all chained to manacles that link each other together, and you're sat under torchlight as you hear the guards muddling around outside. It has been a few hours since you were brought in, and both Yuri and Warfrin are in the haversack of hibernation, unbeknownst to the guards. But unfortunately for you, you do not have the haversack of hibernation upon you. None of you seem to have your weapons on you, as they were surrendered at the door, along with any magical items that have offensive measures. So you have the clothes on your body, and whatever you deemed as, or whatever they deemed as non-hazardous to your breakout or to anything else. But otherwise, any items you had, any weapons you had, potions, magical wonders items, etc., that are deemed hazardous or the potential to help you break out have been taken and have been placed somewhere in the jailhouse. But you sit and wait as you hear muddling outside.
Well, this is wonderful.
Could have just let me kill him.
Ah, yes. Magic gods. However would that go wrong? Oh, wait. I know. It goes very wrong.
Whose bright idea was it to trust a dang child?
Okros glances at Nez.
Trust the child. I wanted to see if I could save someone. Or what was going on, even.
So, all of you minus Aura believe the child just turned their backs on you, or may have pulled a fast one. Aura's the only one that saw them disappear into the crowd as another guard.
Make them a changeling, yes.
I mean, you
Out
can
of
describe
character.
it. Out of character,
Out of
yes, it would be a
character.
changeling.
Okay, I don't know.
In character, you would not know it, but if you described it, you have a changeling in your party who could probably confirm it.
If they weren't sleeping.
They're not.
No. The changeling is very much awake.
Oh, you're right. The one that's sleeping had the hat. Never mind.
So, information. prior to my little hissy. Which I'm still not fully recovered from. That was not a child. It was, like, it appeared to be such. And then it, like, she disappeared into the crowd, but had become one of the soldiers. So, what the frick happened? Anyone able to answer that question for me?
Wow.
I think the lock with my claws.
You can wait on that one, but you can try it. Give me sleight of hand while Nez explains.
Or from what you're telling me, it sounds like it's one of my own kind. Which means this will be a little complicated, but we will be able to find them. And
What are
take
you
care of
again?
this. A changeling.
Oh, yeah, I've never heard of your kind before. You've appeared the same to me every day, all day, so.
That's because I have no reason to change my form. Because I trust everyone around and no one's hunting me. Everyone believes in me as well. And I prefer just to help people and not be a sketchy person.
Have to do some sketchy shit. Do-da. Sorry, I saw that. I heard a bard sing that one time.
Oh, I backhanded a little, but I appreciate that.
Did you just call me a fish
You must
eater?
truly. No. I showed you appreciate it. But
Oh.
I do appreciate it when people do their best to the past scale.
I know you called me a fish eater. Maybe I need to get my hearing checked.
You what?
I said maybe I need to get my hearing checked. Creed, because it sounded like you just called me a fish eater. But I'm a little delulu right now. I'm not thinking.
Just gonna start banging my head against the bars. Ding, ding, ding.
I'm just gonna go back to drawing
Ding,
this
ding, ding,
stick
ding,
and this pile of rubble. I'm gonna draw some pictures. You do you guys. You know it was a change.
So, as you're all sitting there, Nameless, you try to pick the lock and are unsuccessful, and begin banging your head against the bars of the window that lay behind you. You hear a voice come from the large wooden door, the slot that's in the top of it. And you hear just a gruff voice going, "Enjoying your stay?"
Oh, quite. Consider purchasing my own personal room and just enjoying my time.
Be better if I had a snack.
It's good that you're in there, as it is where heroes who like to put their noses into other people's business should stay.
And who are you?
None of your concern, Aura.
Well, you know who I am, but I don't get to know who you are. That seems kind of rude.
I know who all of you are. You spoke with Freya. You stopped her from being silenced. An unfortunate circumstance.
Oh, is it unfortunate? I think it's quite fortunate. Pleased to meet you. I'm the one who saved your life.
I have a feeling I know who you are.
The changeling.
Who do you believe me to be, Creed?
I'd assume, let's say you're the one who attempted to orchestrate that unfortunate incident.
I have orchestrated a number of things. The downfall of kings and the reign of terrors. I've orchestrated killings and other things that have occurred by simple word of mouth.
What do I roll? I want
For
to know
what?
who this motherfucker is.
You don't really have anything to
who
pull
he is.
from of who he is. You could probably roll intelligence to see if you can reason who he is. Or it is.
10.
You don't reason who he is.
The dice
You
hate
think
me
he's just
tonight
some
all the
schmuck.
time.
He,
Must I point out you're awfully conceited and think very highly of yourself? I mean that in the most positive way, I suppose.
It's just a dick.
I
that what it
am
was?
many things. My job is to simply change the status quo, to balance
You are many-
things that need to be balanced. And
You are many
unfortunately,
things.
you have all stepped into a meat grinder beyond your proportions.
You have one thing right, sir. You are many things, and on my last nerve is one of them. Now tell me who you are or what you are before I allow Nameless here to claw your eyes out.
Well, why you gotta throw me into it, first of all? A little
Do you
rude.
not want to claw his eyes out, Nameless? Do you not want to claw his eyes out?
I mean,
I'm not sure if it came across the microphone, but Creed breathed sighed very deeply. Please, what the both of you? Stop talking and attempt to have a conversation like a civilized being.
I think
Thank you.
you're on it also, and it's not the fun kind. So go ahead, have your conversation.
civilized? What is that? Is that a food? What does that taste like?
Oh my god.
What?
Who said I care? I'm trying to get this motherfucker to monologue. And you are interfering.
Hey, I did nothing until I was brought into it. Just FYI there.
Please,
Have your conversation.
continue with the grandiose speech. I'd say we're a captive audience.
Well, you seem to be the audience that will listen. You went looking, and here I am. Now, as much as I know that as soon as the next guard comes to here, you're going to tell him that the Blight Piper's in the jailhouse. Unfortunate for you, they don't see me like you do. You seem to see through all of my deceptions, all of my plays, the strings that I have pulled. That is frustrating. So I'm
Sounds like a
here
skill
to
issue
let
there,
you
bud.
have a game. You want to find something to make this land better. I do not. I want the opposite. If you want to restabilize this region, I will destabilize it. Every foundation you build, I will crumble. It seems that we will be in a battle of wits until one of us eventually falls. So I will not kill you here, even though I could easily do so with a snap of my fingers. I will not do so. I will simply leave you to what it may. You will be found innocent and free of suspicion. You will be released and you can go back to your investigation. But you will not win. As there's already motions in occurrence for someone you believe to have saved. And I will give you this as a free choice. When the clock strikes 6, which is in 2 hours, a person who is under threat will die. You save them, you win. If they die, you lose. That is the game. You will be released from here in a few moments. I will be gone. Let the games begin. And as you look at him through the bars, you see him start to almost blur and become extremely hard to see before he fully disappears. and I need all of you to roll me a wisdom save.
He's a fucking ninja.
Wisdom save?
Yes.
Oh, 19.
You didn't roll a
Oh, no,
19, you rolled a 10.
10. I looked at the wrong thing. 10. It was right the
I
first
got
time I
a
tried to say it.
3.
Anyone who is an elf variant gets advantage. So that'd be, I think, just Aura.
Well, that's
I roll again and take the higher
That's
number.
that's a check, Reed. A save.
oh,
So 21.
sorry. Okay. I hate this stupid mobile.
I say my advantage.
17 then.
So all of you seem affected as you forget the conversation that just occurred. As
Even
the
with the
man
21?
disappears. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So as the man disappears and you watch him disappear, you don't remember speaking to anyone at the door until another guard comes forward and says, "Well, you're free to go. We have investigated what we can. Lady Gilhart is stable in the local infirmary with the apothecaries, and she seems to confirm what has occurred, that she was under the influence of another. In that instance, you are free to go. Go forth, continue as you were doing. You will be led to where your gear is. It will be given back to you, and we will go about our business as see fit. I apologize for the guards that went to see you, as they are not well trained yet. I am one of the last of the officially trained guards from Ravenholm. It has been quite a challenge to make decent guards out of the common folk, but we will get there eventually. But your gear is down the hall and to the right. Please recover it and then exit the jail to the south. The guards will lead you out. And once you are there, if you wish to visit the infirmary, it is north."
Wonderful. Thank you for your speedy efforts. And if anyone can give assistance as the water commander for Walmart Saliatos, please feel better. So, you have but to... Can't speak. You have but to ask of me, is what I was trying to say, and I can't do it with a British accent apparently.
He goes, "Quite right. Well, I can't seem to remember why we had you here in the first place. All I remember is getting a letter from Lady Gilhart saying that you were free to go, and then I came to release you, as I didn't even remember that we had locked you up in here. Strange. Today has been very strange. But regardless, your gear is down the hall and to the left. Then you can exit to the south."
But your priest is going. I don't know what the rest of you. I mean, if you want to try and harass a random guard, you can, but he's not.
So unless any of you say otherwise, he's basically going to walk forward, undo the manacles on all of your wrists, and basically lead you to where your gear is, where you'll be given back your gear as necessary, and then you will exit the jail.
Whee!
Alright, with that, you guys are now outside, back in the Sheltered Arms District, which is the map to the right of the jailhouse.
Priest don't want to head to the infirmary and mention that. I gotta stand in a meeting, so.
Yeah, it's whatever you guys would like to do. If you'd like to go visit the infirmary, you can. If you'd like to go back to the tavern, you can.
Shut them up a bit.
All you remember is that the words that seem to echo through your head is, "You have to the strike of 6. Someone who was threatened will die."
don't even know who's threatening now.
Well,
I was gonna say, I know Freya was, and
I know
I left
Lady
Lucifer with
Gilbert
her.
is. I think Freya's out of commission tonight because this is out of character because Mandy's not here.
That doesn't mean that she still can't be under threat of death.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But she's not here to defend herself.
oh, she's here. I have the sheet. She just isn't voicing
He
the
can-
character.
Yeah, he can still do all the roles and stuff. It just won't. Yeah.
It just won't sound like Mandy.
So,
You won't do it. Is there anything I can roll to maybe try and infer who would be under threat?
I mean, you know, Lady Gilhart and Freya were the two that you intervened, where they were the ones
but
originally
who's
being
to say there's
threatened.
Who's to say there's not a new person, huh?
You wouldn't have that information to start with. The only two people you know who were threatened that you stopped was Freya and Lady Gilhart.
No, I feel like we should go check on Freya. Guys, my brain is telling me that at 6 o'clock someone's gonna die. Is anyone else mildly concerned for Freya's safety, or is it just my brain?
You all have that
Does it-
same
Hello?
feeling.
hey,
I don't know, the one that's just stabbed herself with a needle kind of seems like she may be in danger too.
She's in the infirmary. Do we want to split up and go see both of them, or is that a bad idea?
Guess I'd be okay with that. It's gonna be an odd number though.
well,
In that
if
case,
we are
whoever gets
splitting up,
Oakhouse
then I
gets
am
the
going
small-
to go where Orphan is sleeping to make sure he stays safe. So I would be at the tavern.
I'm going to Freya.
I was gonna say I can. My Lucifer's with Freya, so I can go the infirmary.
Or Freya. Freya. Why do I keep saying her name wrong?
I mean, I'll go to the infirmary.
Oh,
What about you, Creed?
Creed? Blackburn?
Creed, do you know you're muted? Okay, he may just be AFK.
He might be. So, who is going where?
I'm going to the tavern to see Freya.
I'm gonna go to the infirmary.
I'm also gonna go to the infirmary.
Alright, so I'm going to label this one as the infirmary. If I could spell it correctly, that'd be wonderful.
So me and Okos are going to the tavern, and then the other... Okay, where's Creed going? Are we just sending Creed with me and Okos, or is Creed going with Nameless and Braid? Ned.
Alright, so Creed messaged me.
I imagine Creed would be more
I'm
interested in
eating.
seeing the noble.
Oh, he's eating. He's
Oh,
consuming. I was like, he's meeting? Who's he meeting? Alright, so Okros, you're going to the tavern.
Correct, yes.
Warframe is technically at the tavern. Yuri's in the backpack. Nez, infirmary or
Yuri's in a
tavern?
backpack?
I'm going to the infirmary, but I left Lucifer at the tavern,
Right.
so I dropped Lucifer at the tavern for you.
Nameless.
Infirmary.
Infirmary. And Aura going to the tavern. Aura, Jenna.
I'm going to the tavern.
Thank you. All right. Well, then we'll
Can I pick
say
up?
Creed. We'll say Creed goes to the infirmary just for the sake of keeping it even.
That kind of makes sense, because he did seem interested in the noble anyways.
So, we'll start with you guys who go to the tavern. As you enter the tavern, it seems relatively normal. You enter through the front door and everything seems put together
Super
back
sorry,
to where
I
it was.
I was in a meeting going for sorry.
You're good.
Hey. Come back.
So, you all head to, or well, those who are going to the infirmary, or Jesus, the tavern, go to the tavern. And as you guys go, you see that everything seems to be relatively intact. Nothing seems to be out of place. Nothing seems to be really strange or out of place in general. It just seems normal. Something that just doesn't seem to be, weird. And so, you basically head in. You see that the man behind the bar is there. He is doing barkeeper things. You see that people who are staying within the tavern are just cruising around and waiting as necessary. You see that Freya is nowhere to be seen, and Lucifer, Nez's turret, seems to be, you can hear it whirring upstairs. Everything seems to be in place. I'm getting something pulled. It's being a turd and isn't doing things for me.
Well, Laura's gonna head upstairs to Raya's.
You're gonna head up to Freya's room, okay? So
I'm going upstairs. Well, I'm going upstairs to see if Raya's in her room. I don't know what you guys are doing, but I'm checking on her.
all right. So Aura, you go to check on Freya to see what is the going-ons and if anything has changed since you were last here. As you head upstairs, you don't see anything really out of the ordinary. It seems rather normal. You find that all the doors are still secured. No one is upstairs. You don't hear anything out of the ordinary. Those who remain downstairs in the bar don't see anything strange or peculiar. You simply are looking at what looks to be just a normal night at the tavern.
Knocks on Freya's door, because you said they're all closed, didn't you?
Yes.
I'm knocking on Freya's door to see if she responds.
You knock on her door, and you don't hear a response immediately.
But she does respond.
No, you don't hear a response immediately. If you would like to knock again, you can.
I would like to knock again, please.
Still no response.
I would like to open door, please, if it's not locked.
It is locked.
Of course it's locked. What do I roll to see if I can like? Oh, I have wild shape. I don't think I've seen anything small enough. Crawl under door.
I mean, you could see how small the gap in the floor is, and you could probably guesstimate something.
What do I roll to see how gap small?
So you kneel down to look at the gap beneath the door. And as you're kind of taking a look-see at it, you can essentially put together that if you just simply shaped it into probably a small mouse or something along the line of a fly like you've seen before in taverns, you would more than likely be able to get through something.
I would like to wild shape into a mousy mouse, please.
You do so with gusto. And as you wild shape into a mouse, you're able to squeeze under the door.
And as a mouse, what do I see in the room? Do I roll something?
Yes, you would roll perception to see what you can see with your mouse eyes.
20.
So, with your mouse eyes, you can clearly see that Freya is asleep on the bed and that Lucifer is just behind the door. As you go under the door, you see the turret turn and tilt down at you before it recognizes who you are as you return to normal shape.
I was gonna say, I'm wild shape. I don't need to be blasted as a mouse.
And so you unwild shape back into a person. And Lucifer goes back to doing his normal thing. You see Freya is asleep on the bed, calmly. You can see that she has significant bruising around her neck from the night before, but for the most part looks rather alive and not hurt in any sense of the word.
And I can see her breathing.
You could see her breathing.
Okay.
She has not heard you enter. What would you like to do?
I am trying to decide. Because I feel like if I wake her, I'm going to get jumped. Or she's going to panic because scared. What time is it again? We have till 6. What time is it?
It is more than likely closer to 4:30, 4:45 in the afternoon.
I would like. Does she have a chair in her room?
A chair?
Yes.
Yes, she has a chair.
I would like to go sit in the chair and wait, like a creeper, but not creeper because I need to make sure she's okay. I'm not going to stare at her.
You're going to stare at her or not stare at her?
Not stare at her.
Okay. So you sit in the chair in her room, and you simply just overwatch. You unlock the door?
Just wants to come up.
Okay, you unlock the door, and then sit in a chair in a room, facing the door, and not staring at Freya creepily. And you sit and wait. Okros, what do you do?
I will be probably taking up a position in a corner where I can see most of the tavern and especially the entrance, and just kind of be keeping watch Strider style while drinking some mead or something.
Alright. So you find a nice spot.
Babysitting.
You find a nice spot in the corner of the tavern overlooking most of the barscape. And you just look like someone who would be giving someone a quest, though you're already on one. And so you hang tight in the corner. You have a couple of pints of mead in front of you, which don't do much against your physiology. So you drink them lovingly as you wait. two of you set up shop and wait. Warfin stirs in his slumber upstairs, but is safe for the time being. And so as you two wait, we swap to those in the infirmary. Nez, Nameless, and Creed. The three of you enter through the front door and come to the station where a nurse and apothecary sit behind.
Can you hear me or is it too loud?
I can hear you.
Trio just walked up to the receptionist. Is that the right word?
Sure. Close enough.
I don't know what the medieval attendant. Got him. Valet. I don't know. And he's going to mention they want Commander serve some Ravenhall. He was told that the woman who had it not attacked was currently recovering in this apothecary. He wants to check in on her and make sure she's okay.
They go, yes, we heard from her that you are the ones that saved her. Very good. If you wish to go see her, she's down the hall. But be wary, she is still weak. Do not look for answers, as she may not be able to give them.
We shall do our best to ensure that she recovers as swiftly and as painlessly as possible.
And so you were all led back to the room where Lady Gilhart sits on a hospital bed of sorts, a cot made out of pretty well laid material. Around her sit other cots that have other people on them who are sleeping or resting, as they have all overcome what has ailed them or why they were here. You see people who have been battered and bruised. You see some people who seem to be sleeping off a sickness. Some people who are covered in bandages from cuts, fights, or disease, as they're all being tended to by different nurses and different staff that walk around. And you see Lady Gilhart, who is somewhat there. She's a little bit out of whack, out of sorts, as she's still recovering from the whole situation that occurred recently. And she sees you and waves you in. She's almost as if she's excited to see you, as she goes, yes. Are you the ones that saved me?
Yes, we are. Pleased to see you on. You must live awake and alert. Run the line by the time.
She seems to hold her neck where a bandage has been strewn across it, where you imagine is where the needle punctured her larynx. And she holds it as she speaks, simply saying, well, it is difficult to speak, but I appreciate your efforts in making sure that I stay alive. I can't quite remember what had happened. I just remember waking up here, almost as if a nightmare had overtaken me. And I imagine you've come looking for answers, as I've been missing for quite some time and you happened to stumble across me.
Does she take that wonderful vape hit too?
Yes.
Go for it.
Off the floor so I can actually hear my own voice and make my answer accurate again. I'm aware we shall take you some time to recover. We're more than willing to wait. And as the watch commander for the War Master Lian Ravenhood, it'd be my pleasure if, at least for tonight, you'd permit us to stay and ensure you are safe. I know that typically in the event of a altercation such as this, people tend to feel unsafe, like they're still in danger. If you'd permit us, as I said, we'd like to stay the night and ensure you get a good night's rest.
She looks at you with caution in her eyes and goes, "Well, you did save me. I imagine that it would be nice to have company as well as to make sure that I am okay until I'm able to leave the infirmary and go back to my home. I imagine they are waiting for me. If you wish to stay, you can. I will not say no."
Cool, I call the bed. Move your feet.
That didn't come across, but I just did a very deep inhale and exhale as I leaned forward.
So, the Nez and Creed, you guys find chairs that are in the same area as she is, watching different aspects of the infirmary hall you sit in. Nameless, you simply sit on the edge of the bed near her feet as you so wish. And Creed, you remembered as you walk in that you would recognize that the time is about 4:45, a quarter to 5 if you will, when you enter. And so you wonder how the rest of the party is doing. And so time ticks forward. None of you see anything out of the ordinary. None of you seem to come across anything strange. Those of you in the tavern see people come and go, order drinks and food and sit and eat and drink. Those of you in the infirmary see nurses and staff walk through administering medications and handing out food and water to those that are recovering. Everything seems to be going normal. And you all hear a clock in both your locations strike 5. 5 chimes ringing off as your watch continues. And again, as you...
Am I allowed to do something?
Sure.
Creed is just going to... further. What is it? Detect good and evil. Is that a feature trait or is that an actual spell?
I think it may be a feature of Paladin, but it is also a spell.
Yeah. Thanks, to... Yeah, well, he's going to he's going to do the thing. Here's me hoping. What actually?
So you're essentially casting detect good or evil around you.
Yeah, basically, if I feel someone with ill intent, I know that we gonna have a problem here.
So as you detect,
like never seen a red paladin before.
So as you detect good and evil around you, you see that the colors that come off certain people, which is the spell that lets you see into their paragon ratings, if you will. Those that are good seem to have a bright blue aura. Those that are bad, evil renegades have a red aura. And
mine must be purple.
Those that sit in the middle seem to have a gray. And so as you look around, you see that most of the people in this infirmary are somewhere on either end of the spectrum. No one is of bright blue or bright red, including yourself. You see that everyone is kind of in the center. You, of course, are brighter blue than those around you. And then with Nameless, he is relatively gray, and so is Nez. Nez has a few blue streaks through his aura, but nothing of major consequence. The Lady Gilhart seems to have a light blue aura. The rest of the patients seem to have somewhere of a very pale red or gray, as the human condition in this sense is to be somewhere in the middle. It is uncommon for someone to be on either end of the far spectrum. So you watch with this spell now in play as you simply wait. Even the staff that walk around, some of them are gray, some of them have more of a blue tint, but you don't see anything of ill intent, as ill intent and evil do not exactly always go hand in hand. Okros, you see a few interesting individuals come into the tavern, but they seem to be of ill consequence. They simply go to the bar, they hassle the barkeeper, haggling the prices of the food and drink, finally settling on a price and sitting down and eating. They seem out of place among the rest of the people who live or who have come to visit the tavern, but it's just no one is there really causing any kind of ill will, besides being possibly a pain in the ass to the barkeep himself. They don't seem to be doing anything malicious.
Alright.
Aura, I know you're not here, but for those of you listening, Aura, you don't see anything out of consequence either. No one has come to the door or to the window. You sit patiently as your trident gives you no warning. Creed, the clock strikes 5:30. And you see that nurses and staff have come and gone, and nothing has really happened. The minutes continue to tick as the seconds bot away. But you see nothing of ill consequence, nothing that seems to stick out in what you are looking for. You have almost a sense of ease pass over you, as you haven't seen anything out of the ordinary. And then Lady Gilhart sits up, almost out of her own character. She sits up straight in the bed, her eyes looking straight forward, her hands at her side, and then she begins to say something as the clock gives a small chime at the half hour. She simply states a phrase: "Prepare for unforeseen consequences," and then falls back into the bed asleep.
Are we all sitting in the same area?
Yes, you're all sitting basically around her bed.
Reed is just gonna go, bloody hell.
What in the fucking exorcist was that?
Oh! Let us just say, things are going to be interesting pretty soon.
It's looking
Like
like
boom
you picked
boom
the right
interesting?
spot.
It's hard to explain. A man in a suit said something similar once. I was 13 years ago, so
Nez,
I
could
would
you
say
give
not so
me
much
an
as
arcana?
You want the Arcana?
Yes,
Oh,
I want
that's
you an
Arcana.
arcana. Nez. The artificer require an arcana check.
Yes.
So they're close enough to where if I fire a shot out
19.
the window to the ground, they can hear it, right?
You're all literally sitting about 5 feet away from each other.
No. I mean the ones in the tavern.
The ones in the tavern? They're far enough away that if they heard a shot, they probably wouldn't be able to hear it inside because of how far the tavern is away from the infirmary.
Got it.
So, Nez, with an arcana check, you're able to see that she was affected by something. As you search through your head of magic that you've seen utilized. And you believe that message was planted in her. Give me an
So-
intelligence check. So you know that there's only one school of magic that is known for doing such things. It is the Bardic School of Magic. You don't know the specific name, but you know that it is a bardic tool, something used by spies. And that is all you remember.
Anything else you want me to do, or am I free
Nope.
to?
You are
chat
free
with
to
the
do your thing.
group now. All right. So guys, I'm believing that from when we saved her before, that what just happened was planted to come up now, and why we've been thinking about that 6 p.m. something will happen.
Oh, okay. Do you know who or what implanted it?
It's more likely the Piper that we stopped earlier from making her end her life early.
Okay, was that? I'm guessing so. Does that tell us that it's her that we need to protect?
I'm gonna be going with it's possibly her off of the fact that the magic is still around. And it was
Okay.
definitely of a bard.
How
Also
can
be
we
a
get that?
possible false lead.
Sorry.
It could also be a false lead.
Hmm.
Could be doing that
It
simply
could.
to get us to call for help. Draw the rest of our forces from the hilltop. I say we hold off ground and allow the others to do their part.
Yeah, I agree with Greed on that because of, I mean, it's only taken like 2 people, a max of 3 to stop anything that's happened so far. So, and then, I mean, we're split pretty about 3 and 3 because I believe in Lucifer over there.
How tall is this infirmary? Like 1 story, 2 story, 3 story?
It is probably a 2-story building. So you have about a 9-foot ceiling.
Okay, and I'm guessing the tavern is also 2 stories since there's an upstairs
Yes.
with bedroom.
Yes.
Can I see the tavern from here?
You cannot. There are other 2-story buildings that are blocking your line of sight between here and there.
If I climb up to the roof, on top of the roof, will I be able to see it?
I mean, you can definitely try.
Hmm. Do you guys need me in this room, or do you want me to try to see if I can watch the tavern as well?
I recommend focusing on us, but do your best to try to get eyes out of get eyes on the tavern, of course.
Okay, yeah. Let me see if I can make it to the roof. Yeah, so I wish to climb up the side. And then, get up to the highest point, see if I can watch the tavern. While still being in earshot.
So, Nez and Creed are on the first floor. You climb to the second floor, you find a window, and you easily scale the side of the building to put yourself on the rooftop. From the rooftop, it gives you just enough of an angle that you can see the top of the tavern to your southeast. Realize that with the trees and other 2-story and 3-story buildings between you and there, that your view sight is limited, but you can see the top of the tavern. So, as you climb to the roof, Nez and Creed, on the base floor where you're sitting, the clock strikes 5:45, a quarter to 6. Creed, the hairs on the back of your neck stand up all of a sudden, as if a hand of cold simply wiped itself across the back of your neck. You feel like something is wrong.
Nope. Sorry. Nez is with me, right?
Nez is with you, yes.
Yeah, I'm still with you.
Nez, I believe our guest has arrived.
So it's about time to have some fun.
I believe it'd be rude not to offer a proper welcome. But technically we can't do anything until he shows his arms, so would you like to stand next to the lady or should prefer?
I'm good with staying here. Or do you want me to get nameless?
Creed is gonna go stand next to her. Go grab names. I'll wait here.
Then yeah, I'm gonna go around and get nameless and inform him that Creed feels like he's here and we should be on guard.
Alright, so Nez, as you stand up, you go to the west, towards the staircase that Nameless took to go to the second floor. Creed, you stand up out of your chair as you begin to look around. Your hair is still standing up on the back of your neck. You see that the normal staff are still here. No one has rotated quite yet. But you do see that there is one person who seemed to be bringing in medical supplies. Looks to be a technician, a staff aide, if you will, is rolling things in on a dolly and is loading them off. Nez, you go to the stairs and you begin to climb them. As you go to open the door to the staircase, someone steps out quickly past you, and as they step past you, you feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up as you enter the staircase. Roll me a wisdom check, please.
D8 12.
You're not sure if it was the same feeling that Creed got, or maybe it's just colder in the stairwell. You're not entirely sure. But the person that walked past you definitely seemed odd. Not enough for you to turn around, but just... you feel like you've seen them before, but you can't tell. It's something that you can't put your finger quite on.
Can I just do a or did I get a good enough look at the person to at least know who they were? If I see them again.
You got a pretty good look at them. They unfortunately look like another staff aide with a surgical mask and coat on. It doesn't seem like anything that you would really pick out of as being uncommon. But roll me perception.
Yeah, 21.
With that 21, you turn and you look at their shoes. you being a changeling know that though you can change your appearance, you can't change your clothes that easily. And so you look at their shoes, and you see their shoes almost resemble that of the guards that took you in. The rest of the outfit seems genuine, like someone who would work in the infirmary. But the boots seem off.
The question is, who do I want to run to faster?
Where Creed is at, is there a window that's open?
What'd you ask, Nameless?
Where Creed is at, is there a window that is open or available to be open?
I mean, yeah, but it's on the first floor. You're on the rooftop. But yeah, he could possibly open the window.
I'm also a cat.
Right. But you also don't know what they found yet.
No, I'm just wondering for when that happened.
Yeah. It's
kind of plant stuff.
You could probably find a way back in on the first floor if you had to quickly jump down.
So I'm at the top of the stairwell. I noticed that. Is that window, like, I can see the window that Nameless went through, right?
Yeah,
As
so
well.
you walk through the bottom door. You see the person, you see their shoes, you go up the stairs and into the door of the second floor, and you can see the window Nameless went through that looks like it's on the side of the stairwell.
Alright, I want to yell at Nameless to get inside. So that way, I'm going to yell at the Nameless. Get back to the room. We have to talk.
Okay, so at that point, I want to use my feline agility, allow me to move faster and so on and so forth, to jump off the roof towards the window of the room that Creed is in.
Yeah, using your feline agility, you scurry down the side of the building relatively easily, opening the window and climbing through next to the bed that has Lady Gilhart and Creed standing next to it. Give me perception.
$18.
You see a number of aides walking up and down the patient beds. But as you hear it, you see Nez coming down the stairway and opening the door. And you see one aide in particular almost standing off to the corner of the connector between you and the front desk, looking at the stairway, almost waiting for Nez to come back down. And you look at its shoes, and it seems to be boots that the guards wore that took you to the jailhouse.
I really want to shoot him. So Nez opens the door, right? So I can see him. Am I in like talking range of him or no?
No, then you could yell at him. Definitely.
Can that person with those boots then hear me if I yell at Nez?
Yes.
Is
If
Creed
you like-
able to...
Creed, you are surveying, but for this instance, you don't see the person that Nez and Nameless notice. You're just on guard. You're looking at everything. You're pulling in all the information.
What I was going to say is, does Creed see the entire room? Like,
Yes,
I'm not sure if
you
this
do.
Is like,
You do see the
he's
entire
like,
room.
okay. I'm just trying to figure out faith-wise. I know I'm not seeing this, but I didn't know
Yeah.
if this was like I guess like a 40s hospital with the big open wards with just basically curtains separating
Yeah.
people, or if it
It's
was
basically a big open ward with the curtains separating, but you're kind of standing at the foot of Lady Gilhart's bed, so you're looking up and down. You're taking in anyone who's coming into view range. You're looking for anything out of the ordinary. You're checking every person. You're like your adrenaline's going. Your brain is on like full ramp up as you're looking at every single thing that's happening at this instant.
apologies if I sound I'm currently working the floor. And as soon as you started this, I got called over to the machine.
Oof.
I'm still here.
Yeah. So Nameless, if you would like to try in Signal Nez, you can roll me performance to try in Signal Nez that the guy you see that you think is suspicious is over there.
That's at a +0 though.
Uh,
Mm. Ooh, can I roll insight on the guy with the boots?
sure. Yeah.
Because, yeah, insight, according to this definition, says that I can determine the true intentions of a creature when searching out a lie or preceding someone's next move, so on and so forth. So I would like to see if I can tell what he's going to do next.
Sure. Go ahead.
And that's going to be based on sight, right?
Yes.
So with my Eye of the Eagle, I get, I don't know, it's a wisdom check. Okay, insight is wisdom check. Oh, but it says specifically perception.
Yeah, it's to let you see at very far ranges. Because
so it
normal
won't help me with
eyesight
insight.
ends at about about 240. That extends it to 480.
Right. I was hoping it would help me with insight, though. But, okay, so I'll just roll insight. 15?
So, with a 15, you're looking at this person. And you can't really tell what their next motivation is. But looking at them, you kind of feel like they were waiting for Nez to come out of the stairway. Like, they're looking pretty well with intent, as they're not really paying attention to anyone else or anything else happening around them. Of aides that are moving around, people that are moving boxes, medical supplies, stuff like that. They don't really seem to be in much of a care about that specifically, but they're specifically watching that stairway door. And when they see the door open and Nez step through, you kind of see their brows furrow a little bit, and then relax. As you see them start to kind of turn to walk out of the building.
So, here's what I want to do. I want to cast Ensnaring Strike. Shoot at this person. Because that all seems fishy as hell. And I say shoot at them because Ensnaring Strike, I have to shoot at them in order for them to get entangled in vines.
So you would be firing a rifle in an infirmary around patients. Like a relatively full infirmary, too.
Yep.
Alright, I mean, if you want to do it, then you just have to roll to hit them.
Oh, that's what I want to do, but...
Disappoint me so much.
Huh?
Said you disappoint me so much.
I disappoint you so much?
I want to shoot the man inside the infirmary.
You're denying me the opportunity to make burn cringe so unbelievably hard. But I'm not going to take this from you. So I just want you to know that.
I can make Burn cringe really hard. I'm like drawing a blank here.
See, what I would love to do, what I fully plan to do before you decide to shoot a gun inside of a building to injure people, when there is no such thing as hearing protection, I was going to wait for our would-be assassin to walk over, and I was going to say, oh, "You're an apothecary, right? I got this weird thing with my arm. You know, it's a good thing I met you." And I was just going to be like the most unbelievably annoying person a doctor trying one of the medical training can encounter, simply to bother
I mean, that would work if he wasn't walking out of the building away from you.
Yeah, say he's about to leave the
he's
building.
outside. Sorry, I missed
Yeah,
that
he's
part.
about to. He's about to leave the building.
I thought he was inside. I was going to make you free.
He is inside the building. It's essentially he was looking at the stairway that Nez was coming down, which is about 20 feet away from you at the connector between the front of the building and the ward you're in. And Nameless watched him basically watch for the door to open, Nez to step through, his brow furrowed and then relax, and then he turned to step out of, like, to go towards the front desk out of the building.
And that would have walked past me.
No, he's basically about 15 feet away from you. He was watching your door. It was the person who walked past you, yes.
Yeah. Well, I was just curious if he actually, like, walked past me. I didn't notice.
He walked past you coming out of the stairwell when you went up to get Nameless, but he waited at the connector.
I guess, like, to just clarify what I was thinking is, did I walk past him going back in the room after coming back down?
No, he's away from the doorway.
Right.
Not away any other option.
I mean, you are.
Yeah, I don't have
I'm not
anything
gonna
else.
give you ideas. I was gonna say you are fast as fuck. You are a small tabaxi.
Well, I mean, that was in my back pocket in case I missed.
All right. I mean, do what you feel is right.
I mean, they're in an infirmary. They'll be fine. This is where they should be if they get fucking scared. Like, they have a heart attack because of a shot ringing out in the fucking building.
Jesus.
Ah, fuck.
So, Nameless, as you are deciding your actions,
I'm gonna fucking do it. I'm just gonna fucking do it.
So before you do it, go ahead and roll for me. But before you do it, Nez, you come out of the stairway. You see that an aide is moving a box of medical supplies to the door. He doesn't look like the guy you passed before, the guy that made like your hair stand up on end. But as you stand near the box, your neck gets all tingly again, like something's off. As you look down at the box, you look up to see Nameless shouldering his rifle.
And I would like to cast Ensnaring Strike as a level 1.
Yes. So, roll to hit the person.
At the same time, can I ask that guy to see the box?
That would be a 28.
Carrying?
Yeah. So, you see Nameless shouldering the rifle. You look down the box as something, your sixth sense is going off. Your gut is twisting up a fucking storm. And he goes, yeah, it should be just bandages and stuff. Like, it shouldn't be anything crazy. He goes, here, I'll help you open it. And he goes to open it. And as out of the corner of your eye, you're seeing Nameless scrunch himself in as he's readying the shot. And the aide opens the box. And instead of bandages, you see a bunch of flasks tied around a large metal cylinder with a clock on it that's ticking away. And you recognize the flasks are full of alchemist fire. And with the amount that's there, would be enough to incinerate easily a 200-foot radius.
Ooh.
The aide steps back and goes, what the fuck? What is that? He goes, "That's not on the other boxes, is it? We just brought 6 of these in."
Oh,
And as
we
he
didn't get
says
all
that,
these boxes out.
as soon as he says that, you hear the shot ring out from Nameless as everyone begins to panic. Nameless, you fire the shot as the guy's starting to walk out, and you slam him in the shoulder with this rifle shot as vines rip out from the wound and tighten up around him as he just falls to the floor.
Ooh.
Okay, so do I hear what's going on with Nez while this is happening or no?
You hear the aide go, "What the fuck is that?" as you pull the trigger. And then as you pull the trigger, everyone starts screaming and panicking.
Okay, so I'm gonna run over to Nez and go, "What the fuck is in the box?"
It looks
keeping
like
my
we
eye
got
on
a
it.
bomb here.
Dude, a fucking bomb? Oh my god! What is like? Is it a timer? Like, what is it?
Yup, it's got a timer on it. We need to get these out. Hey, Creed, we're gonna need some help.
So, Creed, I need you to roll
these-
perception to hear Rage and Nez yelling at you from across the ward as people are freaking out and screaming all over the place. As you
These?
just had Nameless fire a shot off next to your head.
Hey, hold on. These? You mean there's more than one?
I'm not sure if there's more than one. We've only checked a box.
Out of character, can I remind Nez that the aide said that we
yeah,
got 6 of those in?
That is a.
Well, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, so Nez relays that there are 6 boxes like this one. And Creed, you easily hear Nez and Nameless yell from the other side of the infirmary that there's a bomb. And because you hear it, everyone else in the infirmary hears it, as now the staff have begun to panic even more as it has become complete chaos, as people are trying to move patients. Patients that can walk are trying to get out of the room. You see that a bunch of them are flooding towards the front entrance where you shot that man and ensnared him, as he kind of disappears in the mass of feet that are traveling over him as they are trying to escort people out, as people are running to get the guards, as people are running to get help, as the 3 of you are in the midst of this human sea of people who are just panicking and freaking out. People are running down the stairway past Nez and Nameless as they are just trying to get out of the building as quickly as possible, as they heard people yell out that there's a bomb in the building, there's a bomb in the building. And it is just complete chaos. You're seeing gurneys rolling out of the doors in every which way and direction. You're seeing people carrying injured patients in their arms and over their shoulders as they are just running out, and you are stuck in the middle.
Are we able to see the other 5 boxes that he informed us about?
You see one of them in the ward that you're standing in.
So we see 2 out of 6. Is that correct?
Yes, you see 2 out of 6.
That guy is still bound, right?
You can't tell. There's a mass of people stepping on him or around him. You
Right.
hope that he's still bound.
So Creed heard there's bombs.
Yes.
I guess default to training. He's going to cast thaumaturgy. He's going to scream. He's going to bellow as loud as he can. Remember your training. Evacuate all patients. Nez, find the target. Nameless. Explosives. Move.
And so you guys hear this order from Creed echo across the ward as people are trying to get people out. And then as you're all setting up a plan of what to deal with at the tavern, Okras, you can see that the clock has struck 5 to 6. And you're still waiting. People have come through and gone, and nothing has happened. Warfrin has stirred and has come down and seen you and had gone back up. Aura is still sitting with Freya as Lucifer is sitting inside the doorway, and you have heard not hide or tale of anything that is happening to the people upstairs. You have not seen any interesting individuals, anything that really would pique your interest, no feeling along your neck, no gut feeling that's wrenching. But then you start to hear bells outside of the building. Loud, clanging bells. Almost of that of a firehouse.
I rush upstairs, grab Warfin by the frickin' scruff, and just put him on my shoulder and sprint out.
So you grab Warfriend, you throw him on your shoulder, and you deuce out. Aura, you hear the same thing, but you're listening, you're fine. You run out of the tavern into the open air as you hear the bells going off, and you're seeing people on red trucks that look like wagons that have been outfitted with buckets and hoses and water carrying that have just begun. It's just going as quickly as humanly possible as these weird steam engines carry them quickly towards the infirmary, or where you imagine is where the road takes it. And your heart drops.
Well, seems we chose poorly. And I start sprinting.
You start sprinting. You keep pace with the fire engines as you are just hauling down these streets. And you get there in a couple minutes. And so, as you are sprinting there, Nez, Nameless, and Creed, you're all trying to help escort people out. You're trying to move people as quickly as humanly possible. Aura, you hear bells outside. You heard Okros run upstairs, grab Warfrin, and run out the front door as you were still sitting with Freya.
Well, Freya is still there, okay.
Yes. So you, Freya, and Lucifer are all still sitting in that room. She is still sleeping soundly. She's moving and breathing, but you hear bells outside the window as you heard Okros burst into the room next door, grab Warfrin, and then sprint out the door. And that's where you are.
And now I'm waking Freya up. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Freya's getting woke the fuck up. I'll take the punch.
So you wake up Freya, and she doesn't punch you. She is kind of very groggy, just looking at you going, what?
We gotta go. We have to go. There's alarms and bells ringing. Okros just earthquaked the stairs getting up there to grab Warfriend and took off. Didn't even think to check on us, but that's fine. But we gotta get out of here. Something's happening.
She goes, okay, if you believe it to be so. And so she...
Do you not hear them?
She goes, I hear the bells, but that's the firehouse ringing. Why do we need to leave if the tavern is not on fire?
I've been up here with you the whole time, keeping watch on you, making sure you were okay. I don't actually know what's happening, but from the sound of it, Okos took off, so we should too.
If you believe so, you are protecting me, so okay. And so she puts her gear together, she grabs it quickly, and she follows you as you fold up Lucifer, throw him over your shoulder by his strap, and you start hustling.
How heavy is Lucifer?
Significant, but right now you don't care. You're all adrenaline in your tiny elf body.
Out of character, according to practice, I am carrying him in my back. That's his backpack he's in. So now I have...
You're not carrying Cactus. Cactus is in the haversack of hibernation.
You said he was in the backpack earlier.
Yeah, he's in the haversack of hibernation. He doesn't weigh anything.
Oh. Okay.
And since he's not dropping in tonight, for all intents and purposes, he's sleeping in the tavern, regrowing his arm. So you don't have to worry about carrying him.
Okay, well then I guess I can take Lucifer.
So you grab Lucifer, and you grab Freya, and you grab yourself, and you start hustling down the street as you see people running towards the infirmary. As you see Okros has already begun sprinting down the street, keeping pace with the fire engines. And you'll get there...
Wait for me, I have little legs!
You'll get there a couple minutes after Okros does. So as you guys are moving towards the infirmary following the fire engines, Creed, Nameless, and Nez, you are currently trying to get people out. And as people are starting to filter out, you see that the person that was ensnared by Nameless still lays on the ground, but seems to have been trodden on and kicked a lot by the people who are leaving the infirmary. Nez, you were still staring at a very large ordnance device. Creed, you were standing in the middle of the infirmary, guiding people out as best you can. Nameless, what are you doing?
Explosives. Trying to find them.
Alright. So you cast Zephyr Strike on yourself, yes.
Zephyr Strike, yeah.
And you zoop between the floors with quick intentions. You see that on the second floor there are 3, and on the bottom floor there are 3. They all seem to be painted as medical supply crates that have been brought in as a normal supply run from a specific distributor in the city. As you open each of the crates, you find the same thing. You find a large number of flasks tied to a metal pipe with wires and a clock in the center. And from what Nez told you, these are big ordinances.
Okay, so I found them all. Yeah.
Yep, you're able to easily move within about a minute to find all the boxes.
And I want to zip back down to Creed and Nez, who should be close enough for earshot, like both of them, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to tell them that I found them all. What do you want to do with them? What can we do with them?
At this point,
disarm all of them.
At this point, as you guys are looking over the bombs, Nez, you see that the timers seem to be set for 6 p.m. Creed, you realize that the time is 5 till 6 p.m. And you see that Lady Gilhart is still in her bed, as even though everyone was rushing out, everyone was taking care of the patients they had, someone must have assumed that she was already out or she was being taken care of by you.
What kind of bombs are they? Like the typical bombs, or are they magic?
That's something for Nez to find out.
Can
I would say that the boxes are, if they are normally filled, to be something close to 60 to 80 kilos. But because these are strictly is filled with not medical stuff, they're probably closer to 30.
That light enough for me to carry while still sprinting?
No. It is not light enough for you to carry and still sprint, because they're still bulky boxes. Like, they may not be full of supplies that makes them heavy, but they're still really wide. They're about a size of a 4-foot wide crate. Like a freight crate, if you will.
Okay.
we probably have a better chance of getting out and getting the lady out, just so that way she doesn't go with this explosion. I think that's probably going to be our best bet.
If it was possible, I was going to drown the bombs.
Well, Jenna, you're not there yet.
You're not there.
Oh, right. Wait for me on the other side. That's right.
So, we need to get everyone out. That's what you're saying?
Everyone is out from what you can see, minus Lady Gilchrist.
I mean, we just need to get Lady Gilchrist and ourselves out at this point. But these are big bombs, So there's probably going to be damage a decent amount out. Not what I wanted to click on.
Well, we have the guy, right? Is he still conscious? I mean, I know he was like trampled and caked and stuff.
I mean, you can go check on him, definitely.
Okay, I want to go check on him, see if he knows how to disarm these.
You definitely see that he is still somewhat conscious. And that the boots he was wearing definitely belong to that of a guard, but the rest of the garb he's wearing seems to be that of an aide or someone who is trying to blend in.
And like, while he goes over there, I want to still. What would I roll to try and see if I can disarm this?
Oh, because you're weird. Let me check your sheet. Because you're an artificer, so you're well. It's because your artificer's different, so it's like making sure that I give you the right information. You could use identify. You could use your investigation or insight.
Well, I could just use my identify spell.
I mean, yeah, it's a ritual, so it takes a minute to do, but you could use it to identify the parts. Again, since you're an artificer, you're not necessarily identifying a magical object. It could be turned to whatever you're trying to do.
Okay.
Think of it of like testing chemicals, if you want to think of it that way.
And what would I roll to try to get the way to disarm it out of this guy?
I'm gonna do the identify. Well, he does that.
All right. So you're going to take a minute to do the identify to find out exactly what you're looking at and what you're dealing with. Because you currently assume that it is alchemist fire, but it could be something different. Nameless, you go to the guy that you ensnared. You flip him over, you go to get information out of him, and you see that he's not all there in the eyes. He seems kind of just staring straight forward.
Can I smack him?
Yeah. So you smack him, and he kind of seems to come to a little bit. As he looks at you, his eyes kind of coming into focus, and you can see that the mouth behind the surgical mask he's wearing, as the words you're hearing are coming out, his mouth's not moving. It's opening, but his mouth is not moving to make the words.
What am I hearing?
You're hearing King takes pawn. That's it. You hear King takes pawn. And as you're kind of holding him by the scruff of the collar and those words come out, your frustration building. Do you say anything to the individual?
Trying to think, hold on. I guess I would say... Well, it's about to be checkmate. How do I disarm these things? And I guess pull my claws out of my...
He's like, do the
paw.
flick, like the... Like little switchblade fingers. Like...
Yes, yes. Like, well, there was a movie where the cat did that, like, pressed, like, its inner paw and all the claws came out like that. Yeah.
So you do it. And you hear the voice come out of the man again. It was... Do you think the chess master cares for the pieces he loses if the game continues playing? Do you believe that you are doing everything correct? Do you think I'm really a man with a plan? Did I ever tell you the step towards madness? The definition of what we call insane.
Oh, do you understand what you know what you're doing? I know what you're doing. Do you realize I'm wearing a Batman shirt right now? Just FYI.
Insanity, as they call it, nameless, is the action of trying and trying again and getting the same result. Insanity is but one bad day away. Sometimes all it takes is a little push. And as those words come out of this man's mouth, the mouth closes and you start to see him seizure and shake as his body seems to lose control of itself, as blood begins to come out of his eyes and ears, as something stops letting it be alive, as if the pawn has now been taken and the hands are off the board. And the man in front of you is now dead. It is now 3 minutes to 6.
Okay, Creed's getting Lady, what's her name, out, right?
Yes. So before we swap back to the infirmary view, Okros, you can see the infirmary in eyesight. You have been hauling down these streets following the fire engines. You are keeping pace with a few of them as you get closer. You see that firemen have already started to come out and pull people away to set up a radius, as they don't know what's exactly inside. They're trying to set up a perimeter. They're currently getting hoses prepped and buckets prepped. They're getting people online and in full bunker gear ready to go inside. They have people who are calling up who look to be artificers as well, who are donning steel plate masks and suits, getting ready to go inside, almost like a rudimentary bomb squad. And you break their line. You simply run past them towards the building. And Aura, you and Freya, carrying Lucifer on your back, see this happen as Okros and Warfrin make it to the infirmary building, and you see his perimeter firemen yelling like, no, don't go in, come back, as they're like yelling and waving at him as he simply just runs past them into the building. And so, as Okros, you enter Creed. You go to collect Lady Gilhart. She's been rather still ever since she sat up, said those words, and went back to sleep. Even after everything that has happened, the chaos, the crowd shouting, the round being fired indoors, she hasn't stirred much. She seems peaceful.
Creed is just going to be like, oh, geez, and he's going to fucking pick her up, fireman style, or bridal style.
So you're going to pick her up?
Yep.
So you go to pick her up. Rather light, easy enough. You feel, as you pick her up, almost a point of tension.
I'll be right back.
You feel almost a point of tension as you lift her up. Like something is stuck on her, and it's attached to the bed.
Oh, great. I have a sneaking suspicion. I think I know what it is. How is this bed on the floor? Is it just four legs holding it up?
Yep, it's basically just 4 legs on the ground, and then with like the mattress and the railings.
And this is, what size mattress are we talking here?
Like a twin, like a long twin.
Perfect. So, within Creed's arm span, you would say?
I would say with a little bit of finagling, you could probably like taco her with the mattress.
Yeah, Creed's gonna try that.
Pivot. Pivot.
So
And,
you go to pick her, you feel that point of tension, and your brain immediately goes, nope, and you set her back down. And you go to reach for the mattress. And as you're reaching for the mattress and your head comes lower, as you're reaching out with your full arm span, trying to get a hold of this, you take a look at her neck and her chest, because she's been rather peaceful, but you've never checked to see if she's alive. Roll me perception.
oh. Maybe do all this stuff kind of work.
I'm sorry.
That's an 18.
So as you lean down to move at the mattress, and you set her back down, you go to grab the mattress, you see that she isn't breathing, and you hear a click when you set her back down.
There is no way, man, you get a fountain bed underneath this woman. Creed's gonna look under the bed.
So you look without moving your feet, and you see that there is a bulge underneath of where Lady Gilhart is laying, underneath the small of her back. That it seems to make the mattress make a weird curve. That it's almost something that she's laying on. It seems to be hidden under some sheets. You see a thin silver wire running up and is hooked to her gown. Almost as if they were waiting for you to pick her up and run. But you didn't. And when you set her back down, you seem to activate something else. As you turn and see, the clock now says 5:58.
Back again, sorry.
Alright.
Welcome back.
So it went from the 5-second time. We have a 5-minute timer. I have 2 minutes until it's supposed to go off. Right?
Yes, you imagine that the ordnance in the building will go off in 2 minutes.
I've popped a secondary charge underneath this woman, who apparently might not be breathing.
Yes.
They look something up real quick.
So, as you're doing that, Nez, your identify spell finishes, and you are confirmed that as you are looking through the materials in this bomb, as you are trying to figure out what exactly it is, you realize that it is a clock timer attached to a large powder fuse that is surrounded by flasks of alchemist fire. And with actually looking at the calculations and doing some quick brain math, you realize that each of these is able to clear out probably a 150-foot radius and just incinerate everything to the ground. And there are 6 of these in the building.
And where's Aura right now?
You are seeing Okros enter the building. You are still about a few hundred feet away.
So, my tidal wave's no help right now.
I think you would undo any progress the emergency services have made.
But if it's powder and I get it wet, it can't ignite.
That's if the powder is exposed.
Each one of those flasks is basically a pipe bomb.
Sort of, essentially. They're full of, essentially, fantasy napalm. And the cylinder that they're attached to is full of rudimentary black powder to break the flasks and ignite it in all directions.
So I can't drown them anyways, they're protected.
And so, Nez, as you identify it and you have this information in your head, you think you have a way to disarm it. You believe that if you detach the fuse from everything around it, it will take you a few seconds if you do it correctly. Otherwise, it will take you longer if you don't. That you should be able to disarm the bombs one by one. But you see that the timer is 2 minutes to 6. And as you are staring over, and Nameless, as you are holding the dead man in front of you, and Creed, you are dealing with the booby-trapped Lady Gilhart, you all see Okros enter the front building with Warfin over his shoulder.
What's happening?
Bombs. She's stuck. 2 minutes.
Actually, you know she's stuck?
Oh, I guess I wouldn't know, would I? Hey, bombs, 2 minutes.
Yeah, so I don't know that part.
You may be able to say Creed's still inside.
Humble boom.
Oh, we're all still inside.
We're all still inside.
Except for me.
Hey, everybody that matters is still inside.
Well,
Wow.
it's Aura, as you are approaching, as you see Okros enter the building, and you see that everyone is inside, and you are with Freya, and you see the line of firemen. You decide that staying at the perimeter, as it's within range of most of your spells, is probably your best bet, as you can't run as fast as the rest.
Me have little legs.
You do have little legs. And so you stage at the perimeter with Lucifer and Freya, as you basically are ready to bring down whatever you can to do damage control, if at all necessary, as that's what you feel like your skills are, as you don't know the situation inside.
Yes.
And so, Okros, you and Warfrin enter, and you're told by Nameless that 2 minutes, kabooey.
And I'm going to yell out, can I get all the bombs close to me so I can defuse them, possibly?
Can Okros move them?
Okros can easily move 30-kilogram crates.
Okay.
He can carry 2 at a time, to be specific.
Okay, making sure.
Yep.
I'll show... Okros, I'll show you where they are. I need you to move them. Too heavy for me.
Alright, just point me in the right direction.
So, I'll need athletics from both of you, very quickly. From both Nameless and Okros. Then I want to see if Orphan has anything that is of use to you guys.
Out of character,
Mm-hmm.
am I able to switch my spells during the game, or does it have to be done before?
It has to be during a long rest.
Okay.
Athletics?
Like, yeah, he did.
Okay. Thank you.
Alright, so
22.
22 on that. Okros, what'd you get?
13, I think. Yeah, 13. 8 plus 5. 5 plus 8.
Alright, so you, with your 13, are able to pick up the crates relatively easily and start moving them. Nameless, you're more than easily able to navigate the area and show Okros where they are. And over the course of about, I would say about a minute, you bring them all back to Nez. And so, Nez, there are 2 near you that you can disarm while they're bringing the rest to you. I will need sleight of hand checks from you for each one.
Okay.
If you succeed, it will take only a few seconds. But every time you reattempt, it will take an additional 5.
Deep breath real quick. Okay, let's go.
And unfortunately, I checked Warfrin's spells. He does not have anything that is of help at this point in time.
The first one's a 22.
Does Yuri have anything?
I brought him along, so I hoped he would be able to do something.
He has
I
Mage
would
Hand,
agree
which
with
is
you.
not helpful in this point. Yuri is not with y'all. He's at the tavern. So Nez, on the first bomb,
Right.
you find the correct fuse line, and you find the wires connecting the clock to it, and you disconnect it within a few seconds. There is
You're on
87 seconds on the timer.
18.
You run to the second one, giving you 84
God.
seconds. You reach in, knowing where the fuse line is this time, and you cut it, and you feel like it stops ticking, and you feel like it is disarmed. You are now at 81 seconds. At this point, as you are doing it, the third bomb is brought to you on the first floor. With a 20, you are able to disarm it, bringing you to 75 seconds. The fourth bomb comes to you at 65 seconds. And you are able to disarm it, bringing you to 60.
One more.
The fifth bomb is brought to you at 50 seconds on the clock.
What? Why? Question mark?
Oh.
What do you mean, why?
Why is it 50 seconds when Okros can carry two? Shouldn't both the fourth and fifth arrive to him at the same time?
Because he has to switch between them. He can't work on two at once.
That's 10 seconds.
He is
I only
working
had
very
two by me,
diligently.
too.
Yeah. So you were on the
third
fifth
and fourth
one.
were delivered to me.
Yes. So you were on the fifth and sixth one. So the fifth one, you go to disarm it. And the clock keeps ticking. You're at 45. Roll again. At 40 seconds, you disarm the fifth bomb. You go to the sixth one that is brought to you by Okros with number 5. He sets it down as you stare into the mechanism. The mechanism looks normal, much like all the other ones you've dealt with. You feel confident.
Nat 20 on it. Oh.
With the nat 20, as you maneuver through this one, you notice that the device is different. That there was a secondary device hidden among the clock. That if you were not able to see it, it would have detonated a small alchemist fire charge. It would have possibly taken one of your hands. But thankfully, due to your nat 20 of you looking for it, you found it, were able to disconnect it, and disconnect the clock. As the sixth device is disabled at 30 seconds left. All the clocks in the devices stopping their nefarious ticking.
Isn't the lady attached to something too?
Terrible fucking time for an ad break.
And as you look over to see Creed, motionless, near Lady Gilhart, as you finish up working on the larger devices. You see that his face is paler than you've seen it, as he hasn't moved the entire time you've been working. Almost as if he is a statue.
Is he still looking under the bed, or that I see, or is he like above it?
He is standing motionless, kind of with his hands out to his side, as he's looking down, looking up, and making eye contact with you.
So, Creed, what's going on over there?
Results come over here. I need you to clear the rest of the building and clear the area and leave the building. Do you understand me?
Am I in there too or no?
Yep. You, all three of you are, well, four of you, including Warfrin, are all near Creed, as he basically tells you to leave the building in the next 30 seconds.
The hell is wrong?
Do you understand me?
I do, but I wish I didn't.
Do it now.
Do you want us to take the lady with us or no?
Unfortunately, I believe this is a dance for two, and I've been chosen to be her partner.
Are you sure I can't help? I just got all 6 of these bombs disarmed.
I'm fairly certain.
Nez,
When
give
everyone
me
is clear,
perception
let
with
me know.
25 seconds.
23.
You see with a 23 that Creed's foot seems to be on a small metal plate attached to a wire leading up to the bed, and that there is a large lump underneath the small of the back of Lady Gilhart. You realize why Creed's telling you to leave. There are 20 seconds on the clock.
That's not enough time for me to do anything besides get out with everyone else.
You believe there may be time to do something, but you believe it'd be one thing. Possibly an emphasis thing.
I want to try it.
Okay. So, the rest of you, Nameless, Okros, Warfrin, hear Creed's warning, and you see Nez kind of ready his body to do something. You see his muscles start to stretch and flex as he kind of leans into the motion. Creed, you see Nez kind of arm his legs to pounce almost like a cat on his prey. Okros, you see what Nez is doing. And in a flash of reason, you grab Nameless, you grab Warfrin, and you run.
I was gonna say, could I, like, rage and then just fucking leap out there
Yeah, you just...
after grabbing them?
You fucking haul ass. Like, you go full rage and you just bore out of the building towards the fireman line, past the bomb squads going in. You tell them there's no time left to get everyone away from the building. They turn and they start running behind you. You start making distance. You see Aura as she has been preparing spells, waiting for whatever is going to happen as you all make it to the safety of the perimeter with Nez and Creed still inside. And so at this point, Creed, you see Nez preparing himself to do whatever his plan is. And now, Nez, I need an emphasis roll. I need 2 natural D20s, please.
Oh, this is where the fun is. Oh, God. Fuck.
So, you do have Lucky, don't you? Or is that Finrod?
That's Finrod
That's
that has
Finrod.
Lucky. I have Flash
Sag.
of Genius on this.
That is
Do we have
that
any
does not
fates?
Don't we have
work.
fate points?
You have 7 fates. Yes.
I
You technically have
vote,
8 fates from one of the natural 20s you rolled.
I vote he can use one.
Is it only 1 because of the double
You
20, or
you will get 1 reroll at the cost of 2 fate points because it is an emphasis
that's
roll.
what I thought, because it's an emphasis. Everyone good with that?
Yep.
Yeah?
Don't think we really have a choice.
Nah.
All right.
Either that or you
You
die.
can re-roll the emphasis as you feel the threads of fate reshape around you.
19 and a 13.
So the 19 is the result we take here, which is almost the best result you can get on an emphasis roll. And so what happens next is something out of a war movie. And as you bring your legs down, flexing all of the muscles in your lower body as if to just launch yourself at Creed, you know with less than 20 seconds on the clock, you're not going to be able to find the device and disarm it, especially if it has a pressure trigger that Creed has found himself standing on. Creed has continued to tell you to leave him, that he will find his way out, and you have disagreed and disobeyed. You instead throw your full body weight across the gurney, and as you do, you launch yourself. You grab Creed across the chest, and you dive. You continue diving over the next gurney as you pull it down with you to shield you as the charge goes off, throwing green flame overhead with shrapnel ripping through the curtains, the walls, and the glass that surround you. The explosion is deafening. The fire falls unbeknownst to everything else. And the fire begins to creep. Unfortunately, it creeps a little too far. As you begin to hear behind the deafening blast, as you hold Creed, as both of you have now received no damage from this, as everything else around you has begun to burn with green fire and light piercing through the dust and darkness, the red mist and pieces of Lady Gilhart now floating in the air. You hear a sizzle from the crates, and you begin to run. With your emphasis roll still in play, you continue running. Your second roll, being a 13 for a 2-phase, is still good. And you find the closest window as you just start to run, carrying Creed with you as you're both stumbling across the ground, diving out the window. You push Creed out as you go to bring yourself past, but as you throw Creed out, you hear the detonation of the map's not entirely accurate, Aura, so don't use the measuring tool. This is for a district. You see the detonation take place, and as you throw Creed out, throwing Creed to safety, you know that because these were not detonating the way they were designed, the radius should be smaller, but that means you're still going to be caught in it. As you see the green flame come towards you, and it hits you. It hits you, knocking you out the window and next to Creed on the ground, as you feel a burning sensation across your face, going through your mask and into the skin you wear underneath of it.
Oh. Can I
You
use that water
scream.
of yours?
Aura, you see Nez and Creed land outside the infirmary window as you can see green flames coming off of Nez's face as he's rolling and trying to swat out the flames, Creed trying to smother it with his cape. All of you see this as the bottom floor of the infirmary catches green and the firemen move in with their hoses and buckets to start coordinating a perimeter.
I wish I'd dart over and cast Cure Wounds. It may not do much, but
I was gonna say that too.
at a level 3.
I have. How do you have it at level 3? I only have it at level 1.
Sounds like a skill issue.
Yep. It's on you, Nameless. On you, Nameless. You can cast higher.
So all of you run over. and all of you lend your skills to help. You guys see Creed is a little bit hurt, but nothing major. You check him and you pull him away. You pull Nez to safety away from the building. Ogros does. Grabs him from underneath the shoulder and drags him back. Or you summon a small amount of water between your hands and use it to smother the flames as best you can. As Nameless, you come up and try to bring Cure Wounds on him to null the pain, to numb it. And after a few minutes of all of you working, including Warfrin, who's using his shape flame to pull it away off of Nez to try and lessen the damage, all of you working in tandem together as a unit, as a family, the flame is finally smothered. And you see a semi-unconscious Nez. His mask burned to ash and embers, fallen to the side. The skin underneath of it that you've never seen before. Bright blue eyes against a white-toned face that has no features. Now, half of it and most of the other half burned to a dark black charcoal. Nez saved Creed's life, but he took his pound of flesh in turn.
Calm down there, Harvey Dent.
Is the infirmary still on fire?
The firemen are currently around it, trying to smother the flames as best they can. They are dealing with it to the best of their ability.
Would tidal wave knock it the fuck out?
It would, but it would also knock out most of the firemen who are inside.
Well, tell them to get the fuck out. I want them out of there.
They're doing their job.
Well, I can do it better.
So as they're working inside, the flames slowly diminishing as they remove the fuel and they smother what they can, you are more worried about your friend Nez. As
I'm looking.
all you know that you can do is that you can try and heal what has been taken, but you're not sure of what exactly it will do in the meantime. You see apothecaries come over to check on you as they see you surrounding Nez and Creed. Carrying their brown leather satchels with the red cross on them. They begin to work on both of them. Creed, who is conscious and just slightly injured, has a few nicks and cuts. Nothing that can't be solved easily with standard bandages. Two of the three apothecaries sit down and start working on Nez, applying salves and gauzes, and going through a very long list of checks to make sure that nothing else is broken or injured in the very strange physiology that is the changeling. They bring him onto a gurney and they bring him to one of the local hospitals, the next stage above the infirmaries. They tell you to follow suit as it's not far away. It's still within sheltered arms and it is down the street in one of the major districts. They quickly hurry him down there and you all sit in the lobby near the front desk, waiting patiently as the five of you plus Freya sit in chairs as the clock ticks by. Does anyone do or say anything specific?
I don't really have anything.
I can't think of anything. I'm looking through my spells.
I mean, I can do Cure Wounds at level 3 again.
I mean, he's not in the room with you at this point. You're all basically waiting. So after a few minutes of you all waiting, it feels like an eternity. You all sit in silence after what happened, after all the events took such a turn. You're happy to see Freya is alive. You're happy to see that no civilians were hurt. You're happy to see that Creed is still standing. And you patiently wait for the doctors to come and get you to tell you about Nez's condition. Eventually, one of them comes out in a stained white leather apron. His apron stained with a strange colored ichor, again from working on a changeling. He goes, "Well, good news. He will live. Unfortunately, we were not able to fix the scarring from that fire. Whatever that chemical was, it did some damage. But it shouldn't cause any issues for him. He should have vision in both his eyes, and he should be able to breathe normally from what our specialists say who deal with changelings on the regular. And it's lucky you brought him here when you did. And thankfully, he wasn't affected as much as he could have. It's a miracle, really. Your efforts did a number on keeping the damage from being increasingly major and possibly killing him through shock. But the nurse will bring you back to his room if you wish to see him. Otherwise, we'll release him in a few hours once he is awake and stable."
Rose would walk in and check in on him.
Yeah, I would go too.
Yeah, I feel like we would. Aura's going.
So, all of you go towards the room that Nez is staying in. It's a small, standard hospital room. Nothing of things of consequence. All of you but Creed enter his room. Creed sits in the lobby, quiet, not really moving his eyes from the floor. The rest of you enter Nez's room, and as you see him, you see that the scarring they spoke of left a pretty good splotch down his face, of where the skin under it is a darker gray than the rest of it. You can see that both of his eyes still shine through. He sees you when you walk in, almost awakening as the door opens. He seems put together, and all of his gear neatly stashed on the counter to his left. He has a couple of tubes in him as fluids run in, different colored ones than you would normally see. You would imagine because of his physiology. But he seems, from what you can tell, from his body language, he's happy to see you. And so, Nez, your friends are here, says the nurse.
Glad to see you in one piece.
I'm happy everyone made it out okay. With a nice big thumbs up.
Of course, returns a thumb up. But yeah, thumbs up.
The fuck happened to your voice?
Oh. Yeah, I did switch it, didn't I?
Oh no.
The Flames got his voice box. No!
He was given a human voice box. Dear God.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I guess I can't control my voice, waking up from the,
Is that your morning voice?
flames. No, that's my what the hell happened last night voice.
Sounds like the voice you'd use every Saturday night.
Where is Creed?
Laura was
Because
gonna turn back and look at the door, like what he thinks is subtly, but don't know how subtle it is.
He was alright. Right?
Yeah, he's fine. I think more shaken than anything.
But not stirred.
Laura's gonna glare at me most for that one.
I was gonna say, he's probably a little mad at me for
Well,
not
thanks to you,
listening
he
and
didn't
getting
need the
out.
ambulance.
What even happened? Like next, all I saw is you guys coming freaking kamikazing through a window, and your face is on fire.
Well, he was definitely on top of another bomb. And, I just risked it for the biscuit to get him off of it.
I take it that bomb is the reason we don't have a certain lady with us.
I'm not sure if it was the bomb or if it was before that. Because Creed seemed like he had a very pale expression when he was looking at her just before telling us to get out.
How did the bomb even detonate? Like,
Well,
was it
Don't
that
like
think
was
he
a
bad?
turned
pressure
to look
plate.
at. I don't think he turned to look to see where the explosion came from. There, Aura.
Just let him answer the question. He was in there. Anything he saw could help us. You don't know that, Magnus. Please continue, Ness. Tell us what you know or what you did see.
He was definitely on a pressure plate. That much is for sure. But where the bomb was that went off, I don't know exactly.
So Creed was standing on a pressure plate.
I think Creed would know a bit more too,
Yeah.
as he was the one that fully triggered it. But from what I saw off of the quick moments that I had, which wasn't that long, is what I saw.
Fair. Fair. I just wanted to see if you knew anything more as I was outside trying to figure out what I was going to do when push came to shove, and I wasn't very useful, but alas. Or, like, hang their head and look down at the floor after admitting that she was of no use. Yet again.
Well, instead of interrogating him, let's talk about the good things that he did. I mean, 6 bombs, dude, diffused. That could have been way worse. How the hell did you pull that off?
Honestly, I feel lucky.
Well, they're
That was
talking
one of those moments.
I mean, Okros and I have a lot to thank you for, as we would have been done.
But if it wasn't for you guys getting him to me, that also wouldn't have happened.
I mean, fair enough, but I mean, you did the heavy lifting. As I look at Okros, calm down, big guy. You did too.
I just look at Ogros like, but didn't he do the heavy lifting? Question mark.
Indeed.
And so, as all of you reminisce and talk about the good things and the bad things, and you see the scar on Nez's face. You all see Creed standing at the door. As he's approaching, you see Aura walks up to him, and then he just continues past her. And he just simply stands at the door, and you feel like that you should give them a moment.
Aura's going back to the waiting room.
Octopus is going to go prepare a celebratory feast.
I was going to ask Okros if I could get some coffee after our conversation that I had with Creed.
Alright, I will make sure coffee is along with it.
Oh, where there's coffee, there's always cream. I'll go to.
Very well. I will set aside some cream for you too.
I do. I like you.
So you all take a step outside as you plan, prep, etc. And Creed, you find yourself in the room with Nez.
Going to take a second to make sure that the door is actually closed.
It is, and you are very distant, my dude.
I'm in a bathroom so you can actually hear me. So.
We can hear you.
Alright, is that better?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
My phone is slowly dying. It's not used to being used this consistently for this long. So,
yes, we can hear you.
Is there a chair in the room?
Yes.
Creed is going to grab it and he's going to walk over and sit next to the bed.
You do so.
Quickly out of character, I'm reading Rexus and Stealth's fucking chats right now. No, we cannot light Aura the mouse on fucking fire.
Aura. Wait, please.
Creed is going to, not really saying anything, he's going to reach down, he's going to pull out a pouch, a journal, and he's going to hold it in front of him. I'm sure you've seen me writing in this a time or two. I try to find anyone who has a good memory. It's been a rough time. You don't realize how quickly time goes. It is gone, and you can hear his voice waver. In this journal, and he's just going to open it up, and on the first page is a word. Mortifer. I was told by one of my friends. He came from another world. He taught me some words in a language he called Latin. He taught me this word means bringer of death. And Reed's just going to start, fanning pages. And you're going to notice it's full of names. Lots and lots of names. These are the people whose my actions, and the actions of my friends, these are the people we've caused the death of. For today, I added 2 names. But for the first time since I found myself 13 years in the future, thanks to you, I got to cross one of those names off the list. And for that, you have no idea how enlightening it is. And Creed's got tears. I'm tearing up as I'm saying this, so he's crying. It's hard to think that you shouldn't have died when you should have. Everyone assumes I've been dead, and I feel very much alive, but I should have died 13 years ago. I did not. And I was prepared to face my death again. I'm not even going to deny it. As soon as I heard you all leave and I thought you were far enough away, I was going to lift my foot. And I would have gotten the death I deserved. What I've been waiting for. There's a lot I've had to come to terms with. One thing that will never be easy is knowing you caused the death of another when it could have been saved. I don't usually open up like this, but I am mad. I truly believe I could have saved her again. I feel you robbed me of that opportunity to save yet another innocent life taken too short. But I want you to know, more than anything, I'm thankful that this list got one name shorter. Thank you. And Creed's just gonna put the book away and stand up and leave.
And as he's leaving, I'm gonna say, Creed, I know you're mad, but couldn't afford to lose a good friend that we've made recently.
The last friends
As he's
I
walking
made
out.
died. I'm not sure I truly want more. But I appreciate it. And then he continues to leave.
So you all find yourselves back in the lobby as Nez is being discharged. He's giving back his clothes and his gear, his mask that has been burned. And for the first time, Nez, you feel that you don't have to wear your mask anymore. You feel that you're proud of the scar that you have. For a long time, you were by yourself. You would shift your shape and try to blend in to stay away from everything. You were hunted for so long. And then you finally found the resistance. The yellow band on your arm that bound you to the other folks that you find yourself with today. All of you with that yellow piece of fabric tied to your armor, tied to your arms, tied around your neck, all link you together to one movement of trying to help a world that has found itself without heroes. That common folk have had to step up and become those heroes. And that's what you all are. You all were once commons. People who just wanted to live and let live. And now you find yourself against the world doing things you never believed you could before. So, Nez, you step out of the lobby to your family. The yellow bands bringing you back together once again. And as Okros has planned the feast and has grinded the beans with his mighty fingers, everyone has gone together and piled what resources they had to at least have a nice meal together back at the tavern. You all step out of the hospital to applause, to shouting, to whooping, to hollers, as a massive crowd of firemen, nurses, aides, apothecaries, civilians, all around the entrance to the hospital, waiting with bated breath to see you all exit. and you all walk into this massive sound of thunderous applause and standing ovations from these people, as the story of what you did hours ago, of what you stopped, became folklore, became a legend in the town of Thurble. People began to stop being afraid, and in the crowd you started to see those same yellow bands among arms of the doctors, the firefighters, the nurses, the apothecaries, the builders, the diggers, the paper boys. Normal people who have now chosen, because of your actions, that they too can be heroes. And they now wear the same yellow band that links you all together as a family, as a resistance. They have found that they no longer have to be alone. They no longer have to be afraid. And as you stand there for a moment, Nez, you see Lucifer slowly walk up to you, its robotic head leaning into your leg as it missed you and was not allowed inside. You all begin to walk to the tavern, as everyone, you see that the road has rows of people down it, just all cheering for you, yellow bands peeking out from every other person that stands there. And as you walk past, they begin to disperse, going back to their normal lives, going back to what they believed was right, but now with a purpose in their hearts they never knew was truly there. You have given them that inspiration to become more. You remember a quote that was given to you in a book that you once read years ago, that folks need heroes. It gives them hope. You have begun that movement of giving hope to people. So you find yourself at the tavern, Freya meeting you there, as she's organized a feast and a celebration, a yellow band around her arm as well. And you begin to eat and drink and celebrate a victory that, though feels hollow, is bigger than you can imagine outside the scope of your actions. Hundreds of lives saved. Even more if the fire was to spread and begin to take out the other buildings in the district. The actions you've done have been immense. In Creed, you realize that a lot of names got crossed off your list this day. And that, though it feels hollow that you just played a game and you won, doesn't mean that you can't smell the flowers when they bloom, because you never know when the next day you will be able to will be. The next morning you wake up after a long rest. Your body's sore and beaten, but feeling good. A message is delivered to you from a raven that has the seal of Leandros on it. It simply says that whatever you did has sparked a change in Thurble. That the entire district of House's Gate has now begun wearing the Resistance yellow, and that it has begun to spread to the shanty towns outside of it with the farmland. That whatever fear gripped them, whatever people believed to be alone, to be isolated, has left them. Though you know that what the Blight Piper said, that for everything you build, he will find a spot to knock it down. you see today as a victory that you should not take lightly. You see that today you have taken back the farm. And that today is a victory in and of itself. Orders attached to the letter from Leandros are as follows. Is that you have shown promise. You have shown great strength in times of fealty, in times of squalor. And that now you must take back the fort. And that is where we end our session tonight.
Dope.
I just want to add one thing. I
Go
want to
for it.
keep the mask on, like, my left arm, tied to my left arm.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not wearing it anymore, but, like, just as, like, I've worn the mask for so long, I still want to keep it as part of me, but I don't want to cover my face anymore.
Yeah. That is perfectly fine. And so, at this point, we're going to do a quick breaky down of what exactly happened and how you all feel. So, starting with Jenna, who plays Aura, the sea elf druid. What was your favorite moments? How do you feel?
I wasn't here for a lot of it because I was dealing with something, but I was listening, kind of, sort of, well. And honestly, my favorite moment of tonight was probably at the beginning when I was going to check on Freya, and I had to clarify that I was going to watch her, but like non-creepily, so I'm not staring at her. And then it added to it when I read their chats, and they're like just talking that shit about it. I'm like, guys, you can't stomp or a mouse, and you cannot allow the turret to light me on fire either. Like, no, not how this works.
It could have happened, but it did not. And it was very
Yeah.
funny. You had to specify not creepily.
And I just know if Mandy would have been in the chat, she would have been like, but why not creepily? Like joking
Oh
around.
yeah, she would have done it straight up.
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, no, other than that, I actually, after the whole Nez almost losing his face and like just the hospital scene, I'm like, I don't know what to do here. Like, I I really liked how like heartfelt it was, and it almost felt like we were teamish. We've been never in that moment, even like outside the infirmary. Even though I didn't do much, I don't know, it felt like a team. Next person.
All right, Mr. Creed. I'm not sure what you're doing. If you would like me to skip over you, I can. Alright, I'm going to skip over Creed. We'll come back to him. Nameless.
So first of all, fuck you for putting like 6 songs stuck in my head at the end there. That was great. All good songs, but yeah, they're still stuck in my head. No, I really liked like the teamwork, like Jenna was saying. Like it was, the role playing felt just sincere and like not forced, and it was great. Probably the best role play I think I've ever had playing this game. Yeah, I mean, that's really the big takeaway for me.
Awesome. Nez.
There's a spelling for you.
What the fuck was that? I don't even know what to say to that. That caught me by fucking surprise. What the hell?
What was that? That just scared the shit out of me.
I don't even know how to respond to that shit.
I don't know how to respond besides laughing.
Anyway,
that was one of the things that was stuck in my head. You were just describing his face being burned. I was thinking fucking Freddy Krueger the whole time.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You were thinking Freddy Krueger. Meanwhile, me and frickin' Stealth were sitting here thinking Harvey Dent.
Because we just went over the Joker, basically. So.
Yeah. Oh my god. I so blew the opportunity to do the whole I am vengeance thing as a fucking Tabaxi Ranger, and I was so mad about that afterwards.
I am vengeance. Gunk. All right.
I am the light.
What?
I am nameless.
No.
That nat 20 at the end of the disarming.
Mm-hmm.
I screamed, "Let's fucking go!" out loud, but I had muted.
Bro, I was clapping so loud, like, dude, all of them. I mean, you only missed what, one?
Yeah, he only missed one.
Yeah. Which is also why, like, I was like, do I want to do this emphasis? I'm like, I was just on fire with all those rolls. Here comes a bad one.
Yeah, I knew it.
It's a fucking 10.
It was an 8 and a 2, right?
An 8 and a 9.
Oh.
For the first
8
emphasis,
and a
or 8 and a
3.
3. Yeah, 8
8
and a
Oh, it
3.
was 8 and 3.
It wouldn't have been good because it would have taken the 3, not the 8.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I was like, you can burn
So
2 fate points and you can redo and let's see if you do better.
So
I almost grabbed lucky on this character too, but I was like, nah, I can't be playing like that on all of my characters. That's just not right.
And
That
that's
just doesn't seem fair.
Aren't you feeling lucky though?
Burnt through all but one of our fake tapes, allowing him to do this.
I would have burnt them all.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no,
'Cause, I mean,
no, it wasn't an odd number, was it? So yeah, you would have gotten 4 attempts.
Yeah, we had 8. Yeah. Because
I'm gonna
otherwise,
point out
someone would have
that-
died. Good.
I knew the problem. I knew you were gonna have a problem as soon as the DM says you feel pretty confident. I was like, I don't like the way you said that. I was like, this one's gonna be different, isn't it? He's like, yeah, the last thing you're feeling pretty confident of using it. Like the room appears empty. The
You
floor
see it
doesn't
right in
appear
front of
empty.
you. The floor looks like it's made of floor. Oh man, weird.
When he said that and I rolled the nat 20, I was like, thank fucking God.
Oh, I know.
You're like, oh yeah. What else was your favorite moments there, Nez? What else you got?
Like the emphasis and that. And then I enjoyed the role playing tonight. Really felt like super like natural.
Very good.
It just flowed.
Yes. All right, Okros.
I mean, I do have to say I did enjoy the RP as well, but the freaking epic Bob Squad sequence was also pretty great. And yeah, just I did enjoy / cringe at the thought of Jenna going through there and Freya just being like stomping her.
Just
Are the wild shapes like what? Oh,
Yeah, but
talk about
thankfully
the
that didn't happen, so all is well.
all is
my friend Ned
well.
almost went to the tavern instead of the infirmary. He was originally going to go to the tavern with us. We defused the bombs there.
Well, I mean, he might have made it around the same time that I did, and then he still could have defused the bombs. But still, yeah, it was better that he was there. But yes.
Yeah, and then
Oh.
Blackburn messaged me saying that he liked the mine part. He hated it when he realized that he was the mine.
Yeah, fair.
So
That is very fair.
with all
Traumatizing
of your favorite moments, and would you like to know how that situation was supposed to go?
Yes.
So
Well, I want to know how it was supposed to go and what made it change.
Right. All right. So how it was supposed to go was that she was going to sit up. She was going to say, prepare for unforeseen consequences. It was going to cause Creed to second guess what he was doing. And that something was going to go on at the tavern with Freya. Because why would he plant that message in there? And he was kind of leaning towards the whole this is a red herring situation. And the situation would roll out that you guys would have left and been like, all right, we're going to go back to the tavern, make sure everything's okay, because since you can't communicate that distance, you guys would have had to run, walk, etc. to the tavern, and would have entered to see Okros kind of chilling, and then Aura chilling upstairs, and Warfrin sleeping along with Yuri. And you would have been like, wait, nothing weird's going on. You would have probably sat and waited, been like, all right, this must be the target. And then as you guys are waiting, you would hear the bombs go off. And then the bells, and then the firemen, you would go and try to, like, do rescue efforts, essentially. What changed was that Creed's and Nez's passive perception, their passive wisdom, was just high enough to proc the whole hairs on the back of the neck standing up. And it was then where they both didn't second guess what they saw. They stuck to their guns on it, and then Nameless being very, very thorough on his perception and being like, that seems fucking sus, I'm gonna shoot that motherfucker. And changing that entirely of being like, I'm going to go with my gut and I'm gonna just drop this dude. He looks fucking sus, I don't give a shit about anybody, I'm just dealing with it. And the fact that you guys stayed... Well, it's the fact that you guys stayed changed the outcome. Because if you had fully second-guessed yourself and had left, the events would have been the bombs would have gone off, the building would have exploded, a lot of fire would have been spread, multiple buildings would have been burned down, it would have been essentially a loss in the game against the Blight Piper. But because Nez had a feeling, and Creed had a feeling, and then they second-guessed their second-guessing of, oh, was that a red herring? And be like, no, something is here, I can't feel it, but I feel like my gut's telling me that it's here. Then Nez looking in the boxes and opening it and seeing the ordnance, that was the tipping point. Because Nez essentially, as he walked past being an artificer, he was like, man, this box seems odd. Like, why is it here? Like, this dude's just kind of moving it in. Do they do this normally? And it was just like, oh, something like tricks the back of your head. And he's like, I'm going to look at it and like pop. Oh God, it's ordnance. And then we brought 6 of these in. It's like, oh God, there's 6 of them. And so the artificer being the one that finds it, put the scale in play of what could have happened. But yeah, so the tipping scale was basically you guys stayed there to like the last minute. that was the tipping. That's what changed it. Because I was going to be like, it's 5:30. It's 30 minutes till the Blight Piper said something was going to happen. And if you guys had looked around and been like, oh man, this box is weird, and like opened it on your own, or like looked under Lady Gilhart, or didn't catch the guy who was being suspicious and just like kind of looked around, you would have eventually like happened across something that was suspicious. And that could have been a tipping point, but it would have been way too late. So it's that situation where because you guys were so suspicious and stuck to your guns, and Nameless was just like, nope, sus, done with him. That actually set the whole events in a different order.
Yeah, see, I felt like it was like what solidified me shooting him was you're in a hospital around, like you were trying to like guide me away from it.
Yeah, I was trying to dissuade you of like, you're in a hospital, like you're just gonna fire a shot in the middle of an infirmary. So I was being like, you may get tackled by like security, and you were like, fuck it, that dude is sus. And I was like, alright, I mean, fucking whatever.
Nameless getting trigger happy, who would have saw that coming? But at least he did it. It turned out
And me
right.
yelling bomb at the same time.
Yeah,
Who
basically.
5:30 in the morning thinks I want to shoot a gun in a hospital. Name's like, allow me to introduce myself.
It was just like all 3 things happening simultaneously was just so funny to me. Of like Nez realizing there's bombs in the hospital, Nameless putting a shot off at a guy he believes is suspicious, and Creed all of a sudden realizing that something bad was happening and seeing Nameless fire, and all 3 of you reacting at once just like sparked the whole powder keg of people just panicking. Just be like, ah! just like running and trampling over people, like trying to people get out. You know, it was definitely very good because you'd be right that Lady Gilhart was the original target, and she was the one who was going to be being gone after by the Blight Piper. But yeah, so that was the original plan, and I was looking to see what you guys did, and because you guys kind of went with your gut and stuck around, and were like, suspicious action, and you investigated, and you got those high rolls, you're able to see the plan before it sprung in action, you were able to intervene. So yeah.
I thought of another favorite moment.
What's that?
After they were out of the building and the firemen were in there, and I'm like, "We're trying to fix this building." And you're like, "Yes, it would, but there's firemen inside." I'm like, "Get them out of there." You're like, "You're doing a good job." And I'm like, "Well, I could do it better." And you're like, "Bet," and you had them do it better just because I said that.
There was something subtle I actually really appreciated.
What's that?
I appreciate the fact that all the medical personnel are morally gray.
Yeah.
Because the Hippocratic Oath. I thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah, they were all gray. Sure. And then I changed EMTs to apothecaries. That was a nice little title change, because I was like, that makes sense. You have doctors and nurses, but you also have, like, apothecaries who are just, like, EMTs and paramedics in the fantasy world. Go figure.
Oh, I just thought that was funny.
I'm actually kind of surprised you made mine gray.
It's because yours is gray, believe it or not. You're not evil and you're not good. You are neutral.
Wait, what?
Yeah, what I've described is that changelings are libertarians.
Changelings are libertarians. What the fuck?
Did I miss something? What's gray? Why is nameless gray?
So, Creed cast Detect Good and Evil because he was trying to see if there was anyone being malicious. Like if someone had like a really bad aura or had a really bad color around them, that was just like he's evil, he's bad, they're bad, warning. But when he uses it, it doesn't tell you the intent, it tells you the alignment of the people around you. So if someone is morally evil, selfish, breaking rules, doing things that are for their own good without consulting the many or putting people in harm's way to further their own goals, would have more of a red hue to their aura. Whereas people who are lawful and good, who are putting others before themselves, who are making sure they're protecting the weak, protecting those that need it, etc., have more of a blue color to it. And those that are in the gray are kind of neutral, where they can go either direction, or that they've done both, where they have put people in harm's way, but they also have saved a lot of people. And so
we could all be gray then?
Who would?
Would we all be gray?
You would all have different highlights. Like Nez had blue highlights to it because he is good, but he's still in that neutral area. Nameless is completely neutral. Warfren and Okros would kind of be more towards the blue. Warfren would probably lean more towards red, honestly, because he's pyromaniac. Creed is like all fucking blue. He is by the book, lawful good paladin. And so it's just depending on your alignment and the actions of your character changes it. But like that's what Creed was talking about, is that all the medical personnel were just gray. They had no flares of any color. They were just neutral, whole and whole, because that's their job.
Oracle.
Yours would probably be more blue than anything, because you're more on the good side and not the evil side.
I'm holier than fucking thou, other than my primal savagery last game. Oh yeah, I finally ripped someone's throat out with my teeth.
Yes, but that doesn't make you evil because you were defending yourself. It'd be different if like you put everyone else in danger to further your own goals.
You mean like the bear?
Kind of like shooting somebody in the middle of an infirmary.
See, the bear thing, you went into with the intention of trying to protect the difference. That'd be like if the option is either save 3 starving children from being crushed by a rock, or take the money that's lying on the table. You know, if you take the money, it's a bad decision. It's an evil decision. You save the children, it's a good decision. kind of like that. Kind of like your intentions determine it. Also, is the depressing / like serious stuff too much?
No, I mean that was part of your character. It was you wanted to sacrifice yourself, and Nez fucking chose to dive at you and knock you to safety, and he took a mortal wound because of it, but it was his choice. So Creed's reaction was visceral and correct. Well, what you didn't know is that she was dead before you got there. Like, she was going to die regardless, because the guy that you saw had already been doing round and had already been being a bastard before you got there.
I have words with that motherfucker again.
Oh, you mean the Piper or the person who did it? Because the person who did it is incinerated.
The Piper,
he was
the
a
mastermind behind all of this.
Yes.
The mastermind behind all this. I have issues with it. Is that who we were talking to in the jail cell? Yes, it was.
Yeah, that was the Blight Piper. He was in shape-shifted skin because he's a changeling.
I really don't
remember his
name.
I almost just was about to joke, going, "Hey, brother, how you doing?"
Festora does not like that motherfucker.
Well, you're not supposed to. That's why I designed him this way.
He gets under our skin in a whole new fucking level.
Good. That's why I designed him this way. He is. So
then he's doing his job right.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say before we all go our separate ways is that I design villains in a few different ways. There's either the tragic villain, where he wasn't ever meant to be a villain. He kind of fell into it, kind of like Leandros was in the beginning when Creed first met him, is that he was made to be this big, evil dickhead living in a castle that was just executing people. When they finally went to meet him, they realized that it was just propaganda, it was reputation. He was actually doing the opposite, and he, like, the first thing he did is he, like, picked up the party and gave him a fucking hug. Like, he was like, "Friends, hug!" Like, he was just completely opposite. Then there's Max, who's also a tragic villain, where his job was, when he figured out who he was to test the party. And so he put himself in that villain position of the antagonist, because that was his job. That's what he was told to do.
Boy, right?
Yeah. Put some respect on that name. The Unicorn Man. Then you have, like, actual villains, like the Prophet of Truth, like Zeus, like Ares, like the Lieutenant you beat the shit out of in Ravenholm. Like, those guys are, like, villains, where, like, they know what they're doing, they're dickheads, they're doing their job right. But then I have another category above it, which is villains that you just want to beat the snot out of.
And that would be the
like, those are, like, the over-the-top Skeletor-level villains, where they're just doing horrendous stuff to do horrendous stuff. The Blight Piper is one, Jason Cawley from Black Marsh Keep is another one. Zeus is up there with doing things for fuck's sake just to be an absolute terror.
Where does Jacob fall?
Jacob Cawley, he was the guy in charge of the old Black Marsh Keep that tortured the party in Siege of Etheria. That guy.
Yeah. Oh, the dude that ripped my wings off and, like, gouged my eye out?
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
He's the guy that I made to be, like, a villain that you want to kill. You want to beat the shit out of him, because he's that next level above of, like, regular villain, and then, like, I want to get rid of him so fucking badly kind of situation.
Hence why you did the Killing Joke fucking monologue to this one.
Yeah. Of where he wants you to hate him. He wants you to keep fighting with him, because he knows that you're going to keep trying regardless, because you're heroes. That's it. So, those are the three villain types you'll find in my games. Like, the Mad King is also in that category of, like, doing things for evil's sake, for the Siege of Etheria people. But yeah, that's all I got. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all for taking the time out of your day to come and join this D&D session. Have some fun. We will be again meeting next week on Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern to do the same thing once again. And for those of you who are listening, tune in on Saturdays at 9 p.m. Eastern to, of course, check in with Siege of Etheria, the other D&D campaign that's currently being run in tandem with this one. And for all those who haven't, or you'll be watching this in the future, if you haven't already, go ahead and follow these wonderful people that are currently in the game with us. Those, of course, is Jenna, who doesn't stream, but she's here. She's pretty cool. We have Blackburn, who also doesn't stream, but he plays Creed, the Tiefling Paladin. We have It's Time to Rage, who plays Nameless, the Ranger Tabaxi. We have Stealth Rage 7, who plays Nez, the Changeling Artificer. And, of course, we have Okros, who is played by Rexus the White. And so if you haven't dropped them a follow already, go ahead and do so. What are you doing? And then also, I have attached my Instagram. I've been doing a lot of art. So if you guys want to see any kind of cool shit that I'm making on the back burner, that's a cool place to go. Past that, we'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, Instagram. So tomorrow we will see you all for D&D again at 9 p.m. Eastern, and then any kind of fun game stuff we plan on doing during the week. And so we're going to see about raiding out here, and we have a few people to choose from. Who is going to be staying on?
I shall be.
Rexus and Stealth. All right.
No.
He said
no.
I have to be up at 7 a.m. to go feed pigs and chickens.
Yes. The farm, Stealth. Quiet. Rexus, why do I not see you on my list? What have you done?
What do you mean? I'm live.
Oh, you apparently just were, like, not on the... Why does the list scroll? Anyway. So, we're going to go ahead and...
Get the show all at the bottom. Stupid.
Who's all the way down there, like a goober. So we're going to go ahead and raid into Dear Rexus, who's probably going to go play some Starfield and be an absolute dork, which is why we love him and keep him around.
Yeah.
But
yes,
thank you
that
all.
Is why.
Yeah, that is why.
We keep him around for his coffee.
Yes, the coffee is the biggest thing. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get ourselves out of here. You'll see everyone later. You'll see everyone tomorrow. We'll see you again. Have yourself a day. And, of course, we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.